Podcast, episode 111.
I'm not recorded yet. I had no clue. You jumped right in. Sorry, man.
I said, are you ready?
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Welcome to the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode 111. Are we ready? Are we happy? Are we
all over again.
Wow. Yeah, look at I'm in the right company. Everybody knows what to say.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Let's get this fucking show over with.
What about Gretzky?
I said, let's get this show over with. Gretzky.
Oh, they said Gretzky. Gretzky and something and get the show over with. Is that what you heard, B?
No.
No? Okay. As usual, it's just fucking...
I'm sorry, I didn't hear Gretzky.
Must have been those top-of-the-line AirPods you're using.
Yeah, well, they're not even on. I can't even use fucking top-of-the-line AirPods. I got to use this fucking $20 PlayStation thing and a $10 fucking connector so it reaches all the way here. That's the best I can do. That or $8 fucking... whatever the hell, Sony plugins, because all the Apple equipment I got, all this top dollar that I have the most expensive AirPods you can get, and I have a MacBook Pro. Everything should be just fucking peachy keen, but of course it's not. So fuck Apple, and while we're at it, fuck Android too. So basically, fuck everything mechanical and
fuck all the options.
Yeah. Fuck this phone you're listening to on, and fuck the company. And I gotta. Ooh, what's all this negativity? Sorry. Okay.
You must have just finished Atrocious.
No, I watched Atrocious first, actually. Maybe we should review it first with all this pregame during the week. No one said, I haven't heard a peep about Stir of Echoes or about Jaws, but Atrocious has come up in conversation in this chat, in the other chat. It just keeps coming up. It's a hot button topic, apparently.
I can't believe what you sent over. I mean, this movie seems to be loved. Are we going to start with it? We can't just jump right in, can we?
No, we can't jump. No, I guess not. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Tomorrow's the 4th of July, okay? Tomorrow's the 4th of July. What great timing that somebody picked Jaws, by the way, which I'll get to that in a minute. And yesterday was the 2nd. Yesterday was Canada Day or no?
No, the 1st was Canada Day.
Excuse me. Okay, well, whatever the fuck. I knew that they're close together. Okay. I'm going to have to ask you something. A&W, it's a Canadian chain, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you aware of something called the Teen Burger? T-E-E-N on the menu?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They got the Teen Burger, the Mama Burger, the Papa Burger, the Grandpa.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know there was a Mama, Papa, Grandpa. Yeah. Okay, all right. Because I heard about
the
this
underage burger.
The Muff Burger.
The Muff Burger. Nice. Okay, the Buddy Burger. How about the Buddy Burger? You heard of that one?
They don't have the Buddy Burger.
They don't?
No.
Oh, they used to. Apparently, it was on the menu.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought you were being a smartass. Now I gotta look at the menu.
Well, you know what a Buddy Burger is, right? I mean, it's in the Urban Dictionary, the Buddy Burger. You know, but it was also on their menu because these guys put up this video and they were doing they were doing this thing. They're Canadian, a couple of Canadian chaps going around and they're reviewing food from different restaurants. So they have a YouTube video and they're on there talking and they go to A&W and they talk about the Teen Burger and they talk about the Buddy Burger. So
they still have it. They still have the Buddy Burger.
You know what a Buddy Burger is, right?
I could look that up too, but tell me.
Urban Dictionary. Well, it's basically a sexual formation with 3 partners, with a white guy or a white person, a black person, and a white person on the other end doing whatever they do. It's called.
I thought that was a reverse Oreo cookie.
Oh, I guess it could be that too. But it's also a Buddy Burger because think about it: the meat in the inside and the white bread on the outside. You know. Either way, so not only do they have a Buddy Burger on their menu.
It's with prim and proper Brandon today. He's like thoroughly disgusted with this conversation. He's like,
no, I'm not.
Okay, you'll like this part. How about the Teen Burger? Now it's not as offensive now because I know that there's more and more and more. But they have something there called the Teen Burger. But here's the kicker. On the burger, there's something called teen sauce. Nice. Fucking teen sauce. And teen sauce is also featured on the Buddy Burger.
Now, I heard the police are not allowed to use Buddy Burgers anymore because they wind up killing the meat. It took a while for Dave to register.
Wow.
It
Right
took
out of
a-
the gate, and that was the humdinger. That was awesome.
It took a second. Yeah, got me. Oh shit.
You know what? I wasn't able to watch Jaws for the show because I don't own it. So I tried to download it, but after 1 megabyte, my computer died.
You saw it coming. And where's that Gordon clip when you need it, Jason?
Right,
The shark jokes are plenty for this show.
Nice. Well, okay, so B, you weren't able to watch it because of megabytes, but C, were you able to play a Blu-ray in your player? That's the question.
Okay.
Apparently, you've had problems.
No problems. That's the thing. I played.
He's messaging everybody, putting up posts.
This, that, and the other thing. I finally popped it because I never use this Blu-ray. It's upstairs in our room. I'm trying to do work. I'm like, I'm gonna pop. I just got Return of the Living Dead Blue Collector's Edition. I'm gonna pop in the special features, pop it in invalid region. I'm like, this is a region for my player. What invalid region? What the fuck? Everything I put in this thing, it's played flawlessly. Never had an issue. Scream Factory, issue. I go downstairs, grab Carrie, grab another one. Why can't I think of it right now? Oh, My Bloody Valentine. Pop them both in. Invalid region. Invalid region. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I put in Opera, region A. Same as these Scream Factory ones. Opera's not Scream Factory. Pop it in, works flawlessly. Pop in every fucking other movie, works flawlessly. Scream Factory, invalid region. They, for whatever stupid reason, for Scream Factory, you had to double click the play button again for it to work. No other disc. So I said, yeah, user error, but in my opinion, fuck Scream Factory.
Ooh, wow, strong. word.
Wow. Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Everything else,
Oh.
even my Spookies DVD.
Oh.
Oh, that's not Spookies. Fuck Spookies. We know that. That goes without saying. So Scream Factory for no reason, and not even all of them. Some of your Scream Factory.
Well, they work. They're working, but it was like, what the fuck? The first thing that came up, invalid region. I took a picture of it and all, everything.
Yeah. And all you had to do was press play and give it a second push.
Yeah, you play it like 2 more times, like do, and then for whatever reason it skipped into it and figured it out. The player figured it out. No other disc from any other company.
Okay. Did you
None.
buy this in Canada? Yes. Apparently.
No, I didn't buy it in Canada.
Oh, where did you buy it from?
It was given to me.
The player. So it's not a Canadian player. It's nothing to do with that.
His boyfriend gave it to him, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, he sent him a player too? I didn't know that.
Fucking-
You did know that. We discussed this.
Okay, I forgot.
Well, he sent him a bag of pubic hair also. Make your own merkin.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Blu-ray? He sent you a Blu-ray player?
Yeah, Blu-ray pubic hair. Yeah.
High def pubic hair.
At the end of the day,
4K.
it's my issue. I should have just hit play twice or 3 more fucking times, but I never. Why would I have? When any other disc I put in just automatically goes to the menu, plays flawlessly, does whatever it needs to fucking do, like a regular player in a regular movie need to. Scream Factory, every disc that I put in from Scream Factory had this issue.
Every disc. Oh, I didn't know.
disc.
I thought you said just said a few. Oh, okay.
Every disc that I have, I don't have every one.
No,
of them.
I know that. I'm saying. I know. I thought you had maybe like a dozen Scream Factories and 3 of them wouldn't play. I didn't know it was every one.
No. I'm talking about everything else played. Only the Scream Factories gave me an issue.
Right, I get that. Let me ask you, do you have like any other like a Vinegar Syndrome or an Arrow or anything like that?
Yeah.
And they play fine.
Play fine. That's what I'm saying. I'm not like I wasn't just going. Hey, well, I can't figure this out.
Oh, Maroon. That's funny.
This guy.
Wow. Oh, that's
Who's
crazy.
laughing now?
Who's laughing now?
Maybe you should drink some wine to take the edge off.
No.
No, how about a Chardonnay? It's a great white.
Just because you got a little love in that fucking. This is why I hate that group chat.
Uh-oh.
Oh, fucking pray. Now there's going to be these jokes the whole fucking show.
What do you mean now? There's always been jokes the whole fucking show.
111 episodes. He's finally hearing the jokes. He's finally awake to hear them.
Them's the jokes, right?
Them's the jokes.
No, not like this out of the gate. And everybody gets to it.
I'm just glad he's happy because on pregame time he was kind of a little off his game. Not off his game. He was
Right,
more
that shark
serious.
joke.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's why. Let him be serious if he's writing killer jokes. As long as when the button clicks and we hit that start recording button, as long as B comes to life, that's okay. I mean, I can only do so much.
Who picked Atrocious as one of the movies that we could watch?
Okay, let me get on.
From the group, who put it on the list to be eligible to be picked?
Okay, Atrocious was a movie that this was picked off of my found footage list. It was on the challenge list. Don't you remember? We had this discussion. You said that I made you watch it the first time. Remember?
Yeah,
because it was on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the reason it was on the list, I only saw it one time. The ending really intrigued me. Everything else was just whatever, regular found footage fare. And then the ending intrigued me, but I only saw it one time. But even on top of that, throughout the horror community, a lot of people like it. So what I did was this. There's this movie, there's The Tunnel, and I can look at the list. There may be two more. There are other movies that I put on that list that I myself may not be the biggest fan of, but because of the love that found footage fans have for them, I put them on my list to do it, so it's more objective. You know what I mean? So if I'm passing it on to somebody,
Cool.
so that's why I got there.
No, that's cool. I respect.
No, not stop. No, but I buy that answer. It's great. I don't like the fans of this film.
I buy that answer. You have passed the test.
Yeah.
You can buy
Yeah.
it.
I might go get a glass of wine or something like that just to
Oh
calm my.
boy.
Make it a Chardonnay. It's a great white, I hear.
Round 2. It's much better.
It's such a good joke.
It is. It's just I know. I saw that chat. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. And
I had another one. I can't remember. I was looking at shark jokes all day today.
I love that chat, and I know. And let me, people listening that are on the chat, they love it too. But the deal is this: I want to say something right now about the chat. Christian's a very busy guy, and Christian's been in some other chats with us, and he isn't as active as we are. But I don't want anyone to think that if he doesn't show up, it's because he doesn't like the chat. He just doesn't have.
You basically just said that's why.
Yeah, but I don't want people
so
to
many
think
words.
that. I don't want people to think that when he's not showing up. That's the reason. So I want to put a disclaimer out
Let's
there.
just put it out there. He doesn't like anyone. I don't think he's as busy as he makes it out.
I'm not a people person.
We know that. That's why we only have 125 listeners now.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well,
We'd have 10,000 patrons if you'd be a little nicer.
I love you long time.
Hugh. You love Hugh?
Yeah, I love you long time.
Hugh Hefner? You fucking.
Huge erection.
Humongous?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, humongous or atrocious? Take your pick.
Atrocious.
Ooh.
Oh, that was quick. Yeah, okay.
Those are two fucking turds.
Well, here we go.
Fuck, I don't even know.
Actually,
Well, it's too
50
late.
50.
It's been a long time
Shit.
since I've
I
seen.
kind of jumped out of the gate. Now I'm thinking about humongous.
Yeah, what else is new? You're thinking about
That's his other nickname for Junior.
humongous. I'm not gonna brag that much. It's not humongous.
Yeah.
But I wish it were.
You ready for humongous?
I'll tell you this though. Speaking of humongous and Brandon thinking about it, what about the dating game? You like the idea, B, of 3 finalists in the dating game? You know what the dating game is, right?
I know the dating game, yes.
So I was thinking,
Sure.
if you're okay with the idea, I mean, if COVID ever ends and we can actually do this, I mean, it might be 2 years from fucking now at this rate, but we 3 people, we get the 3 people that are in there to be volunteered. We choose the final 3, and then me and C will ask them you know their voices, so it's not you know one of the voices, so it'd be unfair. So what we'll do is this.
I recognize Scott anywhere.
Hello. Hello.
John's a finalist?
Imagine that. We had 3 guys. That's what we should do. We should have guys answer for the girls, so nobody has to write anything down. Well, okay. Anyway, what do you think about this? Me and C ask the questions, and we ask these questions to these 3 women, and they give us their answers, and then you come up with the questions. Isn't that how it works, the dating game? Yeah. the Bachelor comes up with the questions. So he comes up with 5 questions. He asks them to the Bachelorettes. They give us their answer. We write it down and we read it to you, and then you select just based solely off the answers. You like the idea?
Love it.
Okay. Well, we need 3 ladies to come forward. I think we have 2 for sure. I think we need a 3rd. We might even have 3.
I was not too sure. I was going to answer for Brandon because I was getting uncomfortable, and I was worried that he wasn't going to like the idea. So I'm glad to hear he does.
Okay, and we're gonna all meet in Niagara Falls.
What,
He's gonna
going on a date in 3 years?
Oh please.
I have a feeling 2 of them are going to go over the falls. The winners.
Yeah, Brandon and the girl. They're gonna go over the falls in a barrel together. They're gonna realize that even with each other, they're both still miserable.
We'll be looking at it, like, look at that.
Yeah, me, you, and Scott and the other 2 girls will be fucking sitting there eating at the fucking CN Tower, drinking wine, looking over. We'll see a
CN Tower. It's in Toronto.
What's that fucking place by the falls now that had
the Skyline Tower?
Skyline? Yeah, whatever.
Skyline Tower, or it was the Minolta Tower. I don't know if it's still called the Minolta.
Minolta?
Minolta? Minolta?
Only
like a camera.
Yeah, Konica Minolta. That's what I just.
Is that still around, Minolta?
I don't think so, but the tower's there.
Really? Wow, that's weird. Well, think about it. Usually,
I haven't had one of those in a while, AB.
Really?
Well, I mean, when something's named after something, usually it's a company that's advertising and they're still around. I mean, imagine if there's a fucking the Nissan the Datsun Sports Center. You know what I mean? It wouldn't happen. You know, because Datsun's out of business. They became Nissan.
Yeah.
In case anyone doesn't know. Yeah. Datsun.
Well, maybe I called it the Minolta building because it said Minolta on the side way back when. Maybe it has its own name. It's the other tower, not the Skyline.
How about the Eaton Center? What about the Eaton Center? Is that still around?
Eaton Center is still around, even though Eaton's there's other like standalone stores are not around anymore.
Eating pussy.
The Eaton Center.
Let's just on that note.
Okay. Oh, that's great. So the dating game. We're looking forward to it. So to answer your question, who picked what? 111. Stir of Echoes was picked by Eric. Jaws was picked by Willie. Atrocious, Ty B. You can blame Ty.
Ty B.
Yep. You can blame him for Atrocious. And if this is a short review, like we've been talking about, like it's been alluded to 3 or 4 times behind the scenes, it's going to be our shortest review. That's okay. We'll do our best.
It's going to be short simply because it's a really short movie.
That's true. It is a short movie.
I could still find things to say. I took notes. I mean, I have enough to say, and I think I can clear up the ending for you. Okay,
well, that's good to know. And I still have that voicemail here, that 6-minute voicemail, and I'm waiting for the time to do it. Maybe in lieu of the Atrocious review, if it's short, we'll stick it in there, you know?
Lacey Lou? So. Mr. Lou? Get to a Lou?
Lacey Ono?
Lacey Ono.
Anyway.
Anywho. Any Lou.
Oh, stop. I hate
Oh.
fucking anywho. Why?
I know you hate anywho. What's the other one you hate?
I don't know, but anywho, I absolutely fucking, I hate it. It's the dumbest thing.
Anywho. You hate something else too.
Why who? Why not how? Which is what the fuck it is. There's nothing, I don't know. I hate it. I'm sorry. I hate it.
It is the Minolta Tower.
Is it?
Konoka Minolta Tower.
Konoka Minolta. Oh, is the guy's first name Konoka, last name Minolta? Is that what that means?
I would assume so.
Because I've never heard of Konoka Minolta. I've only heard of Only from the Mines of Minolta. Remember that commercial?
No.
Oh, wow. Do you remember Ontario Place, Happy Together? Do you remember that one?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember this one? See,
No.
You may or may not remember, but I do, and I mentioned it to people and they don't know. But about the Eaton Center. All the things you can eat at the Eaton Center. Have a snap, dip, dip, did a something, dip, dip. All the things you can do at the Eaton Center. Yes or no?
I don't remember that. But the better version of that would have been Brandon's eating pussy. That's the joke of the day so far.
Thank you.
Do you remember the candy commercial that was played in Canada when They were going, that's the way, crunch, 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 and they show guys kicking fucking karate kicks. We like it, crunch, 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 crunch.
That was just in Canada?
Yeah, it was a candy.
That's the way, crunch, 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 crunch. We
Yeah.
like it. Oh, yeah.
What was the candy? Was it like Kit Kat or something? It was something like that.
It was called the Crunch.
It was called Crunch?
Yeah.
It was Nestle Crunch, right?
Yeah. I didn't think it was just a Canadian thing. I thought it was a well-known thing.
We had a Nestle Crunch bar, too.
Of course we had a Nestle Crunch bar, but we didn't have that ridiculous commercial.
Well, we don't have ridiculous commercials, although I did realize that one of my favorite childhood shows was Canadian. I can't believe it. I was looking it up recently, just the other day. Special? That's exactly it.
Oh, really?
I watched it all the time as a kid, and I was just like, I want to look this up. I loved that show when he turns into a mannequin and his hat fell off. Yeah.
Yeah. We're about to appear. We're about to appear. Today's special. Shout it loud and clear. Today's special. Oh, that shit was great.
Yeah. I had no idea that was Canadian. You
remember the song like I did or no?
No, I was only like 4 or 5 when I was watching it. You were like 30. It was on from like 81 to 87, so I was 1 to 7. So I probably watched it when I was like 5.
I was 1 to 7.
Well, so all those shows on Nickelodeon, half of them were Canadian. You can't do that on television. Today's special.
Nickelodeon.
Calliope. Remember Calliope? See? Wasn't it called Calliope? I think it was like I think it was called Calliope. It was like a cartoon. It was kind of like a Sesame Street, but for Canadian.
What was the commercial where the character? I forgot. It was for Nickelodeon because at the end somebody goes, Nickelodeon.
What show did that?
No, not what show. What commercial? It was like an advertisement for Nickelodeon.
I would assume it would be a commercial for Nickelodeon.
No, what was the character, you dummies?
A character?
Know everything.
I don't know.
Forget it. I'll have to ask my buddy. He knows.
Is this the buddy that hated Maniac remake?
No, it wasn't Calliope. It was Pinwheel. Pinwheel. See, you know that show? Pinwheel. Really? It was basically Canadian Sesame Street. Pinwheel.
Any relation to Pinhead?
We had Sesame Street.
I understand that, but you also had Pinwheel as a,
Any relation to Pinhead?
Yep.
Oh, I got something to play. I'll do it after the next break.
Or Needle Dick?
Pinhead. Has to do with Pinhead, and it's pretty funny.
Pinhead, Pinwheel, Needle Dick.
Yeah. All right, Atrocious. Are we ready? I think we've jibber jabbered quite enough.
Jibber jabber. Atrocious from 2010, written and directed by Fernando Barreda Luna. 2 teenage siblings endure a terrifying experience while investigating a rural legend near their family's vacation home.
Okay, short movie, short description, and maybe a short review. All right, Jeremy. Let's see. Let's talk about Atrocious.
The mind is like a labyrinth in which anyone can get lost.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. I mean, I don't understand the beef with it. I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's the greatest movie, but I don't think it's terrible.
I used to be at an 8 out of 10 for this.
Really?
I used to be, yeah.
Wow.
The beef with this is I think it is, I actually think it's totally lazy. And it's all running around. There's a whole bunch of, during the day, running around or walking around with shaky cam shots, and there's a shitload of night cam or green vision running around at night. And it's, for a 65, 70-minute movie, padded to the tits and boring as shit. I don't even know what happens at the end because I don't even care.
It's underdeveloped is what it is. First of all, let's talk about the lore of Melinda.
Yeah. What about Melinda?
The only thing we learn is that she lives in the woods near this town, and they don't really know what happened to her. There's so many different stories. They really don't even give much detail. And if you see her in the woods, she shows you the way. And I immediately thought she must look like Peter Frampton. I want you to show me the way.
Meow, 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 meow. Awesome.
Isn't that lazy? Like, why would anyone be scared of this ghost story?
Well, all of a sudden, something just clicked. Belinda on that story had nothing to do with what happened at the end.
Nothing.
Or did it? Okay.
Nothing. And that's the lazy part. It's like,
that's weird.
All you have to do is change one name at the end. Change Elvira to Melinda.
Yeah, but Elvira was the woman's name, was? Oh no.
No, Elvira's like her
sister.
split personality, like her alter ego. Just change it to Melinda, and then you're like, ooh, that's creepy. The fact that they made it Elvira. Mistress of the Dark.
Elvira. Remember that song? My heart's on fire. Elvira. Sorry. See, we're trying to make it interesting since we got.
If we say
it's
yes,
fine.
can we move on?
Yeah, I don't know what to say about this movie. You turn it on, the beginning is typical found footage, and so that works. I mean, the brother and sister seem nice. They explain what they're doing. Brandon's synopsis pretty much sums it all up. And then it's just like, hey, do we own that bit of property there? Let's walk through it. Let's film every goddamn waking moment of everything. I understand it's a found footage movie. But again, like, I take issue with some of these movies. It just seems like they're filming every goddamn movement. They're filming in the car for the car ride to the thing. They're filming every fucking thing, like boring, not boring, just it's padding.
B
footage. I understand.
But it's realistic.
B footage.
Not really. It's not
C
really
footage.
realistic or interesting for that matter.
But,
But
no, but for kids,
they're paranormal investigators. They want to film everything so they don't miss anything. And
that's why I hate it.
And I don't
hate
mind. In fact,
paranormal
I
investigators.
prefer
Oh,
this
boy.
Spanish Christian to the Canadian Christian.
Well, most people will and do. It just, there's nothing to latch onto, and then it was just more annoying than usual with the screaming. It was just like I had to turn the volume down. I didn't find it unnerving. I found it annoying. I was like, shut up! And I actually turned my TV down. It's so, and I'm like, man, this movie's just pissing me off. So I came away really agitated, not scared. No, but my emotional attachment was like agitated with the film.
okay, agitation.
Sorry.
Hey, don't be.
I know you guys are pulling. You guys have to do what you're doing. I really don't have anything to add to that part though, because there's no attachments. I know Elvira, Melinda, Belinda, Muffy,
Carlisle?
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Heaven
What
is a
about-
place on earth.
What about Badula? Nobody messes
Badula.
with Badula. Remember one of the police academies
Oh, I
where they,
felt-
you don't remember that?
Yumma, 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 yumma.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
dare mess with the brother of
Look at-
Badula?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
How about medulla? You know medulla?
Medulla oblongata?
There you go. That's right. Medulla oblongata. Yep. Good call. Wow, you're smart, B. Shit. The only reason I know medulla.
Christian's like, be smart. He's like, I'm out. Like, what the
Well,
hell?
We're talking about.
No, that's
parts
not
of the
reason.
brain.
I didn't know
Yeah.
I don't know who it is.
Perfect.
See? There you go. Good answer. He doesn't know who it is.
Canadian education.
It's not a person at all. It's a part of the brain. That's all.
Oh,
I only know it from the Water Boy.
I know it because Captain Lou Albano used to always talk about it when back in wrestling. The medulla oblongata. Anyway, let me. Oh shit.
that's more interesting than this movie.
Okay, well we're trying to make it interesting. Let's see. Did you guys Well, the thing is, I think people like the movie because.
But that's what you said at the beginning, and I said I'll save it. You sent me over that list. The reviews are high. People are comparing this to the Blair Witch, saying it's the second best found footage movie. I'm like, are you fucking high? But I'm the one that's in the minority here. People seem to love it. The dog dying, sad.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you continue to keep filming it if you saw your dog dead, but to keep
Well,
like,
not only
oh,
that,
let's-
way, not
let's
only
just
that,
go
when
down
their,
the
when their
camera.
brother goes
right, they should've
missing,
dropped
they both grab cameras to go look for him. That's ridiculous. I took major issue with that. Your brother's missing in the middle of the night, and they both grab a camera. Bullshit.
Were they using lights from the camera by chance or no?
I don't think so.
Well, no, because they're using the night vision. That's how they're seen.
I do like their relationship though. I
The
like that they
lens.
get along.
Me too.
I mean,
I think-
that's good, and that's established at the beginning. And like I said, and the dog death was sad because I don't like when dogs die.
No.
This
Not
is
usually.
what it sounds like when dogs cry.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum,
I
bum.
swear I saw a dubbed version of this when I watched it the first time, a dubbed version. So this one I watched. It's on YouTube, but it's only Spanish, and there was no subtitles.
You can buy it on YouTube for $4 to rent. That's the only
I
chance.
looked there was an option to buy because I looked at just watch
Or
it.
rent.
I looked at Just Watch It. It was blank on where you could find options of where to stream it, buy it, or whatever. That's why I told you guys, we might have to go nefarious means here because Brandon decided to give his copy away. We might have to go nefarious because there was no other way to watch it other than in Spanish on YouTube.
I looked for my DVD. I think I gave it to Carly.
Oh, well, I'll point to Carly.
Carly. Here you go. Happy birthday, Carly.
Hey, she just watched it recently and rated it, I think, 4 out of 5.
See, and he gave it an 8 out of 10 when he watched it. So
I did. I was an 8 out of 10 at first. It keeps coming down every time I watch it.
Well, Carly, don't watch it a second time if you've only watched it once. Apparently, that's the key to this movie because that's how it ended up on my list. And this review, we were talking about it before the show. The reason it's here is because it's on my found footage challenge list, and the reason it's on the challenge list, I only saw it one time. I was confused / liked the way the movie ended, and that stuck with me. And basically, the general consensus amongst found footage fans is they like the movie. So when I made my list, there's 3 or 4 movies that are on there that I may not have been the biggest fan of, but I wanted my list to be objectively fair. Where if I'm going to recommend found footage movies to somebody, these are movies that you should check out. That's all. So that's why it's there. That's why we're talking about it now. Apparently, Ty must be awake. Who? Challenge to stay awake? I wouldn't say that. I mean,
I agree.
Short, really? It's a short movie. The kids are okay, and there's a lot of screaming.
Kids are all right.
Yeah, that's why the kids are all right.
I almost said all right and corrected myself. I changed it.
You got to be very careful when you name your movie Atrocious. I mean, like I jokingly went right to I just went to to Wikipedia. Of course, like the dictionary pops up and it's like horrible, outrageous, offensive, despicable, contemptible, nauseating, appalling, dreadful, terrible, very bad, unpleasant. Bingo, bango.
So there you go. This should be your IMDb review. See, you still have that account that you used to put reviews on?
I do.
You should get on there and say Atrocious. If you look this up in the dictionary, just say what you just said.
Yeah.
Including the bingo bango at the end, you know?
Bingo bango balls on Brandon's chin.
With a link to Exploding Heads. Patreon, you know? Hear more of my reviews. Can you do that? Could you amend your old reviews or edit or even put new ones? And at the bottom of it say, to hear more of my reviews, go to patreon.com/explodingheads.
I did that with some of the Friday the 13th ones with TJF. It was better when they had the when they had the chat rooms or whatever the hell they were. What was it?
Oh, sure, back in the day, the message boards.
Message boards.
Oh, they were great. Yep.
Did they just get rid of those because celebrities didn't like being made fun of?
I just thought it was too much trolling, and they just got tired of fucking having to police it. Seriously, I think that's what it was. I could be wrong, but I mean, there was a lot of trolling going on, and people were getting fucked with.
Those message boards were great.
They were great. I said the 3 of us should have started a new app just for the message boards. You know what I mean? Let's
IMDb message boards. But it's IMDb.
No, we can call ours I am, the B. You could have a B on there. You know what I mean?
We started Dave Matthews Band when we just call it IDMB.
IDMB. Yes, it'll be all the stats about DMB. Nice. But let's see if we can invest money into an app, then maybe we can get those message boards back. Why not? Pass it around to movie lovers and shit. Oh, I hate using that word. Sorry, lovers. But either way.
Patron pledges are going up in August.
Why? Why are they going up?
We got to get that money. We got to get the anal bleach tube money. We got to get the Zap money, the movie. There's a lot of shit on the fucking roster here.
Wait, when you brought up anal lube, I thought you were talking about for Brandon's date. We got to get the anal lube for that date night.
You're going to scrub it clean beforehand, right? It's got to be in tip-top shape.
I'm just going to use some steel wool and palm olive.
Go to you get an old toothbrush and you get in like you're cleaning old tile grout.
Who needs an old toothbrush? I could multi-purpose with my toothbrush now.
If we have a dating game, are we gonna have a afterwards? You know how they come back and they talk? That was Love Connection. Sorry. Okay, we'll do dating game / Love Connection. So after the date, we can have you and your date on the show, and you could talk about the date. Would you be willing to do that? Or is that too far?
That's fine.
All right. Well, hopefully the partner agrees.
He looks uncomfortable. Yeah, that's A-okay.
This is a good Atrocious review.
Okay, Atrocious. No,
All right.
listen,
You know what the problem is here? And I like the fact that the ending is grounded in reality. It's not something supernatural, but they still needed more things throughout to suggest it was supernatural. Like there's a part where he hears a noise, he checks it out, he finds broken glass in the kitchen. He thinks he sees something in the woods. We don't really see anything, but he's staring. He's like, there's somebody there. They needed more of that, even showing up on the camera when they show Robin, the dog, barking, and he's barking at something. You need to just have you need to be able to see something. There needs to be more unexplained things happening rather than them just recording an hour of nothing, which is what it really turns into. Because there is a lot of walking and recording, and it's fine if it pays off with, us seeing something creepy or like, oh, what was that? What was that?
Well, they were following the Blair Witch stuff, which really showed you nothing.
It's true.
But
true.
That had been done. So
Yeah.
now you need to see something.
And the Blair Witch is a lot scarier than Melinda. Melinda just wants to sing Peter Frampton to you.
The only scary thing about Melinda is it sounds like a fat chick.
Melinda?
Yeah, that's a fat chick name.
I would thought Belinda would have been a fat chick name.
That's even
Belinda
fat.
the Belinda.
That's
Belinda.
There's like no need.
Belinda.
Melinda. I knew one girl named Melinda, and she was quite attractive. Mindy is what they're called. Melinda is short for or long for Mindy.
Mindy
Sorry.
St. Clair?
I don't know who that is. Oh, wait a minute. Is that the girl from Return of the Living Dead?
Who's Mindy
No,
St.
that's
Clair?
Melinda Clark. Sorry.
That's a part of your brain.
Who's Mindy St. Clair, Christian?
He doesn't even know. Who knows?
Uh,
Anyway, okay, this movie's an hour or whatever. It's a short movie. I guess if there was an extra 15 minutes, maybe that's where that stuff should have fit in. The stuff you guys are talking about that are lacking. So apparently they lacked all those things, but at least they didn't overfill it with.
No, they didn't overfill it. But if they're gonna fill it as much as they did with recording, you gotta show us the tapes. I mean, I know we're watching the tapes because it starts with the police stuff, but they needed to show us some payoff for each of the recordings.
Oh, this came out 2010?
Yeah, 2010
Yes.
or 11.
The magic, typically, I don't think you could get away with. You might be able to say it's a feature length if it's over 60, but I think 70 minutes is that magic kind of feature length, and it feels like they padded it to make sure they hit that 70-minute mark.
Maybe.
This could easily be trimmed down to a half an hour film tops. You get the introduction, the setup, and then the payoff. And you're not really losing anything.
Or
It
it
should have been.
could be made into a feature length by adding some good stuff in there.
Well, that's what Dave said.
Yeah.
That's what Dave said. But there's. I'm just thinking there's so much I didn't like about this that felt like filler. That I don't know. Like the good stuff would really have to be good for it to outshine this.
Well,
that we're
two
given.
critical characters are not even developed at all, and that's Mom and Dad. In fact, Dad disappears on it's only like a 4-day period in which they get there and this happens. But I think Dad leaves to go to Madrid on day 2, and then he never comes back.
That's the problem. Is that everything had to do with the mother too.
Ever. He's
You
still
No, you never hear from him because at the end when the phone call is made from 911, you think that's Dad, but that's actually Carlos.
But that's why I think he left. I think he had something to do with this, and we'll get to that. But I think that this movie, first and foremost, it could have been cut, and it could have been in like a VHS. That would have been cool, just to focus on that good stuff. Because I think it was a powerful punch
right.
at the end,
Like
but
an
I'm confused
anthology.
by it.
Like
An
a
anthology.
clamshell? Like a clamshell VHS?
Speaking of VHS, did you see them in this movie? They had the VHS tapes in the basement.
Yeah, the Bruce Lee and Godzilla.
And Bird with the Crystal
Bird
Plumage.
with the crystal plumage, yeah.
Yeah, what a weird freaking oddity to be sitting there. You know what I mean?
That stuff was cool. They needed more of that, more nostalgia and stuff like that. But
I just don't understand. Now you realize the age of these two young teens. You know what I mean? Of course they're going to be filming everything and doing a documentary. I could see that, and that's just what kids that age would do with a camera. It's 2010. They don't have much. I mean, for Christ's sakes, their family car still plays cassettes. They don't have much money.
Those cameras are like $3,000 each. Those were like professional or prosumer cameras. Like
that was a nice house they were at. I mean,
they bought a summer home or whatever
Yeah.
you're talking about. So
How can
I
they have
think
cassettes in their car?
it's
Shit's that. Who
Spain.
had
It's
cassettes in
Spain. It's a
2010?
third world nation.
yeah. They typically have like an El Mariachi band, like right on the dashboard.
Oh, shit.
It's a way, senor.
Did you hear at one point the father started singing "Farewell and Adieu, you fair Spanish ladies"?
Oh, jeez. So why did the father? Let's get to this thing at the end here, because I mean, what is there to say? The kids go there, one thing gets uncovered. They're worried about Belinda, whatever the hell her name is. They got the camera. They're walking around. The dog dies. The brother goes missing. There's a mysterious kid saying strange things to them. I don't know if they ever explain that. I thought that kid's name was Robin, because the next scene they go, "Where's Robin? He's missing." And I thought Robin was a. Remember the little kid comes around and maybe
he was speaking Spanish, Dave. That's why he said all those crazy things.
Not Jose. No, there was a little kid. Remember? He came around.
There was no Jose.
Well, then, yes, I wrote the name Jose down. So there's definitely a Jose.
I don't know what his name was. Jose. It must have been Jose.
No.
Or Jesus.
Jose was the little brother.
Jose, that's what I said. He goes missing.
Jose goes. I thought, but you said what little kid comes around talking?
There was another little kid, and they said, don't bother with him. They didn't understand why he was coming around. You remember that scene?
His name was Robin, he said.
I thought his name was Robin, because shortly after they meet him, it said Robin's missing. And I'm thinking, no, they know his name now? Because it's kind of a weird name for a dog, Robin.
Are you talking about the guy who tells the story about Melinda?
No, a child, not a guy that tells the story about Melinda.
There was no other. What are you talking?
Yes, there was. Yes, there was.
I think he was in the shaky cam footage, and I didn't see it. Robin. Carlos, Santiago, Jose, Deborah, July, which is a stupid name, and Christian.
Julie, not July. Not like the 4th of July.
Like July.
I know it is. It's Mexican. It's just, maybe that's just how they spell it.
I don't think it's Mexican. I think it's Spanish.
Sorry, Venom. Right. I promise I'm not trying.
Here we go again.
I'm not trying to. Believe me. No?
Oh,
is there somebody?
Robin.
No, Robin's the dog. Oh. So is there anybody else credited in this film? Does it say young boy or anything like that?
Who's Santiago? Is that the
Don't
father?
tell me I imagined it.
Is Santiago the father? Deborah must be the mother. Santiago must be the father. Carlos is the friend. Jose's the little brother. Christian's the big brother. Julie is the other one. And then everyone else is Melinda. Who's David's the kid from the beginning.
Well, maybe I'm mistaken. I thought some young boy came around and said something to them. They didn't understand what he was talking about. And they said, leave him alone or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
That sounds familiar now that you said leave him alone. I don't know why. That just like...
Oh, Live Her Alone. We did the Scream franchise last time, and that was a couple weeks ago.
Live her alone. Liver. Sorry. Okay. I do like everything that happens in the last 10 minutes, though. That stuff kicks ass. What about that small skeleton on the fireplace? What the hell was that all about?
That's Jose. That's the little brother.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It was a skeleton already?
Yeah, they put him the mother put him in the fireplace and set him on fire and burned him.
I had no clue that happened.
Because they thought the mother came and woke them saying Jose's gone. That's why they went into the maze and they felt guilty because they never told them that Robin was dead. The dog, not the little boy. And and so they're talking about how they feel guilty, and evidently that was just a distraction so she can get them out of there, kill Jose, and then kill the kids when they come back, kill the older ones. The problem is with the explanation, based on the timeline, Christian should have a recollection of his baby sister, of having another sibling. He should. He's 18 years old in this. The little brother is what, like 6 or 7?
Yeah, right.
Which means the other one, the older, at least he would have been 8 years old probably when the third child was born.
Now I'm more confused. Okay, I didn't know there was another child. Who's the other child?
Michelle.
Who's Michelle?
The third child, the one born in between Julie and Jose.
Is she in the movie at all?
No.
Okay,
The mother developed postpartum depression after giving birth to her third child, Michelle, wound up killing the baby in a hallucination, and that's how she became crazy.
Well, that's why. They never knew. Oh, wait a minute. They probably just told the kid it was a miscarriage. She killed the baby.
The baby was born.
Well, they said it. I don't know. I'm confused. So why? Who's to say? Okay. So why does Christian have to have a fucking recollection? He's gonna talk about it. Well, there was this baby that died. Who gives a fuck? I mean,
I don't know if his baby sister died. I'm just saying.
Who's to say he didn't know? What I'm saying. I'm asking you. Why do you think that he doesn't know? That's what I'm confused about.
Because he should be able to put things together that something's up, that mom's sick. But they don't give you enough there until the very end.
I don't understand the end, so maybe that's why I need your help. That's what I'm trying to say. All I know is when it comes to the end.
Do you want me to show you the way?
They show that video. What was that little thing crawling on the wall? Did you see there was something crawling on the wall at one point?
That was Robin.
No.
What was crawling on the wall?
Something. It was small, but it was in the room. It was crawling on the wall.
I didn't see that.
That's okay then. No big deal.
Everything is so dark at the end. I'm just like.
That's okay. I don't know. I tell you what, I like the scary shit at the end when they show the recordings.
Yeah.
When they play the recordings and they show the pics and all that stuff. That's quality stuff. That's what stuck with me about this film. Not the run-of-the-mill, what's happening, going out, we're going to go to the altar earlier and hint at that something happened here and what's going on. And the father took off. So I'm thinking the father brought this family there and abandoned them.
He kept calling it a kiosk.
A kiosk? Yeah, I don't know what he was saying.
Like, what? What are you going to sell sunglasses out of there? It's not a kiosk. I think of a kiosk. I think of the mall where they sell sunglasses in the middle of the store. He's like, this is a kiosk. Like,
right.
Shut up.
By the way, going back to what Christian said about Just Watch It app, a lot of times they don't pick up on the YouTube movie. So anytime before I'm going to watch a movie that I have a hard time finding, I always just go to the YouTube app and I just go in there and see what comes up. And sometimes it comes up.
Which is weird, though, because sorry,
it used to. No, it used to come up, but sometimes it'll be there just, anybody can post it up there, and sometimes it'll be available to buy or rent. But for some reason, there's been issues with that app like the last 6 months, and sometimes YouTubes aren't coming up anymore. I don't know.
It was more along the lines of like when I went to YouTube and found the Spanish version, usually you'd find the legit version since you rent from $3.99 or whatever.
Right.
And I don't even know if I saw that.
Maybe it's Canadian. Maybe it's Canadian YouTube.
I don't think they, for whatever reason, we've had this discussion before. I don't think they do that. I don't think there's a Canadian version. That's why I think, how could YouTube get away with it? Yet no one else does. YouTube's bought by Google, right? I'm going to look it up while you guys keep talking about the movie.
Just going to type in Atrocious and look. The third thing comes up from on the thing. Buy
yeah, I don't get the option to buy it.
Well, do you get the option to rent it?
Oh, Christian, I get it. I get the Atrocious poster today. You have your face much closer to the camera. I get it. Okay, I see what you were going for. I see what you did.
Waka.
Waka. Why does Christian put Julie in the cupboard and then wind up running upstairs and locking himself in his room? I mean, I understand he sees the
because he already put baby in the corner.
baby in the cupboard.
He's trying to protect her.
I'm sorry.
I know, but he should have. I know, but it just seemed weird. I mean, he was really kind of a pussy.
No, he's a kid. I don't know.
He's 18. He's a man.
18. He's an adult.
Is he 18?
Yeah. Can't have the
and his mother drags him off in the wood. And the mother drags him off in the woods. Drags him off in the woods like he's 3 years old. She's literally dragging him.
I know. That's ridiculous. That seems slightly scary, or not. Let me rephrase that. Is decent only because it stops the fucking running for 2 seconds.
Yeah, you got to have that break in that.
Holy shit.
Break in 2?
Here's what happened, and I can't fault them. And this is where all the credit will go. They at least had a decent setup, an okay payoff for. If you can make it to that part. It's not a long movie, so maybe I'm making this bigger than it seems to be, but it feels like filler, and it moves like filler, so to me it's filler. But they've got a location.
This is filler!
Filler night.
I don't know where, but where I'm going with it is you have a location, you got a couple of cameras, you got a small, I can't fault them for making a movie, but there just needed to be a little bit more meat on the bone. Setup is there. Starts like every found footage movie. It's forgivable. the ending seems to be there. I got to admit, I checked out kind of, so I know enough of what happened, split personality, the whole 9 yards, and craziness. I know what went on, but my God, was I not on board. But they made a movie. I give them credit for that.
Yeah, they should have been recording and finding stuff related to the mother and the past and there should have been an investigation with that. Or if you're gonna keep it the way it was, the walking around is, they think, something supernatural's in the woods. They're not even concerned with their mother because they have no clue that she's a psychotic baby killer. But then give us something that looks supernatural that turns out just to be the mother, tormenting her children.
So wait a minute. If so this guy knows that his wife killed the baby, and yet he's just still.
He's gone. I don't even know what happened to him.
No. Stop it. Listen.
The father?
The father has a wife. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So they're married. So now they have 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. 4 children, but for whatever reason, the woman killed one of these children along the way. Correct? Yes, so the father is still with this woman and has no problem leaving this woman alone with their other children?
Yeah, exactly. Major issue.
That doesn't make any sense. So that's what I don't get about the ending. I thought the ending was some type of a revelation of sorts. And there's 2 people, and one of them's a killer. Again, I don't understand the ending, and that's what gets me.
I mean, I want to know what I agree. It's in my notes that the father, like, why would he leave this woman alone with her children? I mean, granted, it's been years. It was a psychotic episode. They give her the appearance of doing much better at this point, but clearly being back at this home is triggering something because she becomes crazy. But where does he go? Is he going for work to Madrid? And how come he never shows back up?
I thought he left on purpose.
You should have been found dead.
That would have been better. He should have been found dead. He should have been found dead because at the end they talk about 4 bodies, meaning the 3 kids and Carlos.
The mother.
Carlos. No, the mother's alive.
She is?
Yeah.
That's the frontal image, isn't it, of her?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Carlos, the one who is making the phone call, the friend with the father.
Okay. All right. So what about that documentary thing they show at the end? So there was a documentary made about this woman, and it just shows up on the TV at the end for no reason for the kid to see?
It's weird. I don't even really know what that is. I mean, it's clearly her being psychologically evaluated, but why would they have that on video?
That's what I'm trying. That's what I thought there was. That's what I'm saying. So in other words, it doesn't make sense. The ending that I thought maybe it was over my head, that I thought was probably pretty cool and I just didn't grasp it the first time. You're saying that there is nothing there. But you earlier, before we began this, you said you thought you understood the ending.
I do understand the ending.
But you just said you don't understand.
No, he understands what happened. He doesn't understand why that footage would be attached to the found footage.
You know what? It's the police investigation footage, so maybe they just, attached it on to the end of that.
The kids saw it on the television. Christian saw this thing on the television. It came on, and it was all about.
You're talking about that part. Okay,
yeah. That's the fucking the heavy of the whole movie to me. That's what sticks with me, is that this is like some big revelation. What's going on here? There's 2 women. One of them, they switch spots. What the fuck's going on? Why did this come up? What does this have to do with anything that's happening here? That's what I'm saying.
Why the mother would have a videotape of herself being psychologically evaluated, I don't know. But that's all it is. It's her. It's the same woman. It's not 2 people. She's the mother, and she's Elvira, and Elvira is this entity that she blames for possessing her, and the reason why she killed her daughter, not postpartum. She claims it's Elvira.
I'm aggravated. Okay.
I mean, it's kind of stupid because if they said all they had to do was change it to Melinda, and it would be much more coherent. It'd be like, oh, maybe she was possessed by the ghost in this woods, and that's what caused her to go crazy and kill her child originally, and now kill all the rest of her kids now. But by making it Elvira, it's like, what? We have to.
They're head faking you, thinking it is a Blair Witch, when really it's just a crazy woman.
Yeah,
the whole thing is a setup to make it seem like there's a ghost in the woods.
Yeah,
but really it's just a head fake for this final. So it's not even a revelation. It's like almost like a sucker punch.
It is, because you don't even see the mother in the film really that much. You see her a few times. She tells them not to go in the woods. That's it.
Yeah, she does not want them the father doesn't want them in the woods. Nobody wants them to go in those woods, especially the father. But then the father leaves. So at the end, when all this shit goes down, I'm thinking, maybe there's something afoot here and the father's involved. And maybe, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. I thought it was more clever that it was over my head. So what you're telling me is that there is no explanation. There's nothing. You guys didn't pull anything from it either, and that's all there is to it. So now I'm aggravated then.
A sick woman with a sick woman with some identity disorder kills her kids. And there was a history of this because she killed the previous child that we get a revelation of, and the story of the ghost in the woods has nothing to do with it.
The story of the ghost. Sorry.
But don't get me wrong, there are movies that have alluded to supernatural aspects that have then been explained to be nothing of supernatural that have either worked or been cop-outs in the past. This is just a total cop-out, in my opinion. Like they keep talking about it, but
it's only a cop-out because you can't. There's no rational way you could think it's the mother from the start. That's why it's a cop-out. If they, like you said, if they have 20 more minutes in this film and give you more deep dive into the family and investigation stuff, finds clues about the mother, maybe you see that tape of the mother being psychologically evaluated earlier. I know it doesn't make sense that the tape's there. I can't give you a reason why that. I mean, if I was put in a nut house and psychologically evaluated, I doubt I'd be able to get a copy of the tape on my way out. But,
and bring it to the house that they're just going up to. Like,
yeah.
Have they already mentioned that he's been there? I forgot the setup, to be honest. Have they mentioned that the dad's been there already?
They've all been to that house before, but it's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Oh, God.
It really is a musical episode. Nice. Well, I'm aggravated now, and I'm not going to say I'm sorry I put it on my list, but I will probably remove it. And next time I present this list to somebody else, I'm probably going to take the movie off because it doesn't make sense.
Presenting list.
Update.
Yeah. You see, it's back, by the way, Unsolved Mysteries. It's on Netflix. Yeah. I watched episode 1 today. It was pretty cool. And you know what else is starting today? The new Ju-On series on freaking Netflix. I can't believe it. I'm excited.
Brandon loves that series.
Gotta get your Ju-On, baby. Anyway. I don't know. So anyway.
In fact, I'm going to just delete this review. The show starts now.
Anyway, it was a good review, I think.
As good as it can be for the movie.
Okay, that's fair.
I agree. VHS Viral Part 2, you put this in, or VHS 4 or whatever, this is a segment of the movie. Done. For it to be a 70-minute standalone, not so much. Or as Brandon I already said, I guess he says if you put more meat on the bone into it and make it an hour and a half, you might have something there too. Meat on the bone.
Yeah, meat on the bone. You got to have it, huh? The more the better. Yes. Well, why don't you guys rate? Because I want to hear. I'll go last because I'm really curious here about you guys.
I don't deserve to rate this. I don't
deserve to. He said.
I hate the movie. I mean, it's fine, but it was made. I give them credit for that. They made a feature length film. I will give it a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
And I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Well,
all the way down from an 8. Third or fourth view. Probably my final view.
Wow. I was set.
I get the DVD.
I was a 6.5, but after this discussion, I'm going to have to come down to...
a 1.
I don't know. What'd you give it, B?
5.5.
I'll meet you on that. 5.5 for me too. I'm disappointed.
I agree with you about the last 10 minutes. It's exciting. It's fast paced, especially, once he finds Julie tied up to the gazebo, she's bleeding, gets back. They find Jose, he's burnt beyond recognition. That's a creepy scene. Even the next day, he's hiding out in the room. He comes down, finds all the blood all over the place, sees Julie's gone, sees all the blood. When she sneaks up behind him with the axe, it's creepy and fast paced, but the payoff isn't really exciting because you're like, what? Who is that?
Well, you're right.
Even though, like, you know it's the mother, you're like, wait, that's cheat. It's a cheat. It's a cheat. A cheap cheat.
It's cheap, but you're right. There is a little bit there's a little bit of a lift over the rest of the movie there. I do like the way it started. I like the way it ended. I will go to a 3 out of 10.
Hey! Hall of Fame. I'd like to nominate it for the Hall of Fame.
3.
And it didn't make it.
Is that the lowest rated movie that Christian has given this year? That's the question.
This year, yes.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. Yeah, 3 is pretty low. Okay. What was that one movie you hated? There was another movie you really didn't like at all. We talked about not too long ago. I can't remember what it was.
There's Elf.
It wasn't Black Christmas 2019. It wasn't 3 from Hell.
Black Christmas 2019 was a 6 out of 10.
It wasn't Goosebumps.
As I said, I haven't watched it again since.
Goosebumps was his number 1.
Elf, or the Elf, or whatever.
Elf, the show?
That one. No, the Elf, or whatever, the one came out 2 years ago. Horrible.
Does that Elf come from Melmac?
I told you it would have been. Elf from
There's
Melmac.
a sequel to that too. I got to watch it now.
Really, Elf 2?
If they ever explain what happened to the
Elf
sister
2?
who just walked out of the room.
Return to Melmac?
That was horrible, that movie.
Elf 2, huh? So it's kind of like a Death Court Service 2. Interesting.
What else have we? Yeah, there was something else.
I don't know.
I don't understand. Like, when you start getting under a 5, that's where it's all muddy. What really, at the end of the day, separates a 2 from a 4? It's not worth your time.
Well, 2 points, I believe.
Wow,
I didn't think that was that funny.
It was. It was that funny. Fuck all your other jokes. That was the joke of the night now.
That was it, folks. Nice. Oh, man. Okay, so talking... that was great, too. Yes. Talking about Pinhead, I found this thing. Now, years ago, my friends and I used to joke about this for years. Because years ago, when the Hellraiser VHS first came out, at the end of the movies, I don't know if people are aware of this, but back in the day in the VHS golden age, they would advertise things at the end of movies sometimes, and they would have a bunch of merchandise and everything else, and, those were the days. But this thing came on at the end of the Hellraiser VHS, and I think I either recorded it, I probably did, I recorded everything back then, or I just rented it numerous times. And I saw this advertisement afterwards, and we all did, and this got to be a big joke. And we forgot, I didn't forget about it, but I never thought I would see it again. And somehow recently, one thing led to another on YouTube, and I came across this thing. And it says, Hellraiser Upgrade, very rare infomercial from 1987, now complete. That's what it's called. Honestly, it was just something at the end of the Hellraiser VHS. But I'm going to play something here. Hold on. Let me open it up. And you guys may not even find it that funny. But the bottom line is they were advertising all kinds of things. New World videos you could see there. See, it came at the end of the thing. And it was basically just this.
So until tomorrow, remember that shopping at home with your phone from the Shop at Home Club makes us happy. We love you, and always smile when you dial. Goodbye.
There, Percy. I know you're sad because the Shop at Home Club is off the air for tonight. But Mommy's got a little surprise for you. Something new. Watch and wear video from New World. That's right, baby. At the end of this movie, there will be some great souvenir offers for us. Caps, T-shirts, satin jackets. Oh, I can hardly wait. What's the movie? It's supposed to be scary, but we've seen scary movies before. Remember the Wicked Witch? This should be a piece of cake.
I didn't remember the intro. I didn't know it was gonna go that long. Sorry. So anyway, they do this thing. Oh. So anyway, at the end of the movie, it says stay tuned and watch and wear offer. These are the credits for Hellraiser, see?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, the credits come on, and then at the end of the credits comes this. And then it's basically this.
Here comes the watch and wear offer.
The watch and wear offer.
Percy, over this
Oh boy.
way. Let's get to the
Hold on. All this, and it's not even that funny. Sorry.
To keep your brain covered.
So this is, you know,
Hellraiser Windbreaker.
a Hellraiser Windbreaker, you know. See?
The Hellraiser Sports Bag. The ideal bag for your favorite thing.
All
This
this
is on
stuff.
the VHS tape?
Yes.
Satin against your skin.
Yep.
You know
Satin
you
against
love this satin Hellraiser jacket. And something guaranteed to liven up any dead space on your wall. The Hellraiser poster.
I have that one now.
Here's
Anyway,
how to order.
here's how to order.
We'll show each
So they show you all these
souvenir with
things.
its price and
But this,
Trying to order the Windbreaker?
but here's the funny part. The funny part of it all is just one line, and it's right here. And I'm gonna get to it. 4 minutes and 25 seconds. All right. Okay, hold on.
Also in small,
Now listen.
medium, large, and extra large. Hellraiser baseball caps. One size fits all. Even pinheads.
That was it. Even pinheads.
Oh, I don't remember any of that shit.
Yeah. But here's the question. Were they saying Pinhead the character, or were they saying people that have small heads? One size fits all, even pinheads, you know. But I'm telling you, for years we talked about this. I could call my friend right now and say Hellraiser baseball caps, and he'd know where I was going with it, because we used to laugh about it. It was a
Might
big.
be talking about a plastic nightmare. Even Pin's head.
Even pinheads. But I never thought I would see that again, and I came across it last month, and I said, well, when am I going to do it on the show unless we do the Hellraiser retro? And apparently nobody wants to hear that. Although, I'm just going to go on record and say I watched the whole fucking franchise, finally. Up until a month ago, I'd only seen 1 through 4. Well, I had to watch 5 for Summer Series, and I thought it wasn't half bad. I said, you know what? I'm going to continue on. And I watched the whole fucking franchise. And I got to tell you, I gave every movie on Letterboxd a 3 out of 5. Every fucking one. That's just the way. I didn't love any of them, didn't hate any of them. They were just fine as movies. So, I don't know. Yeah, but that's what happened. So there.
I want to get that satin jacket. Satin against my skin.
I want to look into it. I'll get all that shit. The baseball cap. I wonder if I can get the cap. Only want me to find out. I have the information.
I don't think it will fit that head.
This fucking head. I'll give it to the cat. You know?
Yeah.
Even pinheads. Yeah. So anyway, I guess we can move on to the next movie. What do you say?
I don't think Brandon wants to.
No, okay. I'll put the
No,
voicemail then.
we'll do it.
Okay, all right then.
All right. So Stir of Echoes from 1999. Written and directed by David Koepp. Based on a novel by Richard Matheson. After being hypnotized by his sister-in-law, a man begins seeing haunting visions of a girl's ghost, and a mystery begins to unfold around him.
Well, this is a good movie.
Yeah, it's overlooked, I think.
I think it's always been overlooked, and I think it comes from the fact it came out the same year as The Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, yeah.
Sixth Sense overshadowed it. This kind of disappeared. It was the other movie that the kids saw, Dead Person, and I remember I didn't see it in the theater. I rented it and I loved it, and I was like, oh, this is great. And now I just saw their reteaming, David Koepp or however you say his name, and Kevin Bacon with the movie they just released this year, which a lot of people have hated.
I heard it wasn't that great.
Yeah, and it's not great. It's not great. It's not horrible. It's just blah. There's not much to it, unfortunately. So it's not a recommend. But this movie, wow, man, it's good. There's a little bit of datedness though, I find, with some of the ghost effects, like when they cut to the girl, she's like, or whatever. It's a little silly looking now, and it hasn't aged well.
Wow, really? I didn't find that.
The way the ghost walks.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's from that video. Remember that Art of Noise video? Hey! And that little girl walking over the trash. Remember that video? Yeah, that's what reminded me of the Art of Noise video from the 80s.
There's just like 2 or 3 parts that I was like, But if you haven't seen this movie a lot, you might find them very effective. I just felt like they haven't aged well.
I felt like it aged fine, but the one part I didn't like is the Talk to me.
Oh,
kid?
when the voice lowers
The
for
voice,
no reason. I thought
yeah.
That's kind of cool and creepy.
I thought that's the only really cheesy part of the movie for me. Like, that didn't need it to be that.
And I agree. I mean, it wasn't necessary. Doesn't. I wasn't offended by it. It doesn't bother me. But
I was highly offended. Talk to me. No, show me the way.
Trying to sound black? What's going on here? Like, I didn't get offended by it at all, is what I'm saying. But the reality is, watching it again, I just watched it right before Christmas, and I watched it again now.
Black Christmas?
Yeah, right before Black Christmas, you prick bastard,
Nice.
you. And
Did you give this a higher
what I
rating?
didn't realize is how it tore a page out of The Shining.
Yes.
Like, tore a major page out of The Shining there. Oh.
It's up there. I wrote Sixth Sense / Shining. I even wrote Unbreakable, even though Unbreakable came out after this. I think Unbreakable took elements from this. I feel like Kevin Bacon's character was very Bruce Willis like.
Yeah.
The way he's sort of discovering his superpower. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, very shining light. Very shining light.
And that could have been developed a little bit. I think they do take a little bit of a leap there. Kid walks up to the funeral, like they're in the cemetery.
Oh,
the guy just turns.
Dick Halloran?
He's got the eyes on him. I'm like, what the what? Like.
Oh, yeah.
He just knows immediately.
He also tells Maggie that Tom's a receiver, and I wrote here in my note, Tom's a receiver like Christian. LOL. It's right here.
I love that.
I wrote
Amazing.
like Christian. LOL.
That's fucking great.
Yeah,
I took notes. I would have put your name there too.
Yeah, no, I thought I love this movie. It is super underrated and underlooked. I feel like a lot of people love it, but people don't talk about it enough. But man, the kid's terrific. Kevin Bacon's great. I love the fact that, you know, they set it up from the beginning that, you know, something supernatural is. Here they're not gonna head fake you. You know something's, you know, it's a ghost here. He's talking to it. He even says, "How does it feel to be dead?" Or "Does it hurt to be dead?"
It feel? Sorry.
Yeah. No, and it's got a good. Again, I like the world they put you in, and I think it's very successful in how they do it. You feel like you find out he's just renting. They all know each other.
Yeah.
Like, moved in the house recently. That's what sparked this.
Yeah.
It's all new to everybody, but I like the dynamic of the street. and
Yeah,
how
I love that neighborhood look that
Yeah.
they go to the party across the street. You know,
Yeah.
I love the looks of those houses too.
Yeah, I do too. And just the camaraderie amongst the friends there until you find out again how everybody's connected even more so. But I mean, that's great. And I really think the scene where the babysitter comes is rather creepy. And you're like, why is this girl kidnapping the kid and everything? So there's so many effective scenes that, like, those little nitpicks about the ghost thing feeling dated, they're minute. They're minute. They're just things I seen it twice in the last 6 months. I just feel like, okay, that's kind of.
She was a normal height of ghost. I didn't think she was minute.
Pinheaded.
Pinheaded? Did you say pinheaded?
Even pinheads. Yeah.
But the whole painted black, like him. Where do I know that song? He's just trying to get the tune. It's slowly coming into him, and he's trying to play it on the guitar, and his son helps him with the.
Yeah, it helps him with the chords.
Yeah,
and he keeps telling him, "Don't be afraid of it, Daddy." So he's dropping hints throughout, you know, like to embrace what's happening to him.
You know what's weird about Painted Black is that when she hypnotizes him, and he is in the theater, she makes him paint the theater black too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says,
and the curtain was red. I see a red curtain and I have to paint it black.
The curtain in his song.
It was a curtain in the theater. It wasn't a door.
Well, he did paint it black, and the chairs and everything else in the room, except himself.
I see a red chair and
She's great. She's great in every movie she's been in.
She's a great actress. She's been around forever.
Same type of part.
Yeah, it is true. To get it to die for with Nicole Kidman, she plays the sister in that too. She's great in that. But where I'm going with it is, she talks about not like, is there going to be a guy there interested in me, or I'm going to be interested in a guy? And she talked about no, not drunk enough. But don't they allude to the fact that she's a lesbian later?
Because they have friends over?
No, I didn't think it was a friend. It made it sound like he interrupted, but he's like, he barges in. He's like, I gotta get this. She's like, I'm kind of in the middle of something here.
Oh, I think
And
she was doing. I think she was doing another like reading,
I
another
thought she was
like.
doing some witchy shit.
and-
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
that
exactly.
makes way more sense.
And that woman was a lesbian. She was with
Okay.
yeah.
How
No,
do you know
she's a
she
great
was-
actress. This film is full of great actors. I mean, even Catherine Urbe, she's terrific.
Maggie?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I
she
love
went.
her.
Yeah,
I'm in love with her character, everything about her in this movie.
I've loved her ever since she
personality.
went sailing with Bob Wiley.
I don't know what that is, but
What
I
about
like.
Bob? You never saw What About Bob?
No, believe it or not, I have not seen What About Bob.
Oh my god! And of course
Oh,
she
she it up later because of Richard Dreyfuss.
yeah, and she did Criminal Intent, with Vince D'Onofrio, which she got a lot of praise for. A lot of good actors. Alina Douglas, we just talked about her. She's terrific. Even Jennifer Morrison, this was probably her early role before she went on to have like a big TV career. The Ghost Girl. I mean, she did House. She did Once Upon a Time. I think she's on This Is Us now. So these people have had like good careers.
Nice.
When I first saw this, and only because of the comparison of the two movies coming out, and it kind of just got blended together. I saw Sixth Sense in the theater, and I really enjoyed it. I saw this, and I actually said I preferred this at the time. Now they're kind of even. They both bring something to the table. They both can coexist. I don't know why they were compared, because they're quite different once you watch both of them, other than like the kid has the eyes on him, and that's it.
Was that Dick Halloran?
He's got the eyes on him.
He's got the case. He's got a case of them bad eyes. He's got the X-ray eyes.
X-ray eyes.
X-ray eyes.
How about that scene though? I have a minuscule complaint, and it's that scene. The girl Maggie is walking with the boy, with her son, and he's acting. He's playing around, he's having fun, and she's imitating what he's doing. Oh, she's a great mother. They're playing around. They're having a good old time. Then all of a sudden, he sees the statues, and then he hears the music. Bagpipes.
The guy knows right away. Is that what you're
Not
getting?
that. Nope.
Okay.
He goes, it's beautiful. And then he runs away, right? Let's just say 5 or 6 adult steps away from her. But then all of a sudden it takes her literally 2 minutes to catch up with him. So this kid runs away. He stops. He looks at the thing. The guy turns around. He looks at him. The guy who's in line. They're lowering the freaking thing. There's songs going on. All this shit's happening. Like, where the fuck is his mother? Why would she let him be alone all this time? At least they should have shown her like in the background, maybe thinking it was cute, watching him watch them. But then she rushed up like, you got away from me. Literally, a fucking kid whose legs are freaking not even a foot off the ground. Well, okay, not even 2 feet off the ground, takes off a few steps ahead of her. And somehow he fucking leaves her in the dust for 2 minutes.
I love how you're talking about the continuity of the editing there, as opposed to the guy just literally turning on. Yep, he's got X-ray eyes.
Well, they knew each other right
eyes.
away. Well, no, because he knew his name was Neil, and he knew that what this little boy's name was, Bob or whatever. Neil
Jake.
and Bob, whatever, Jake. Okay. So,
Or is that what you do?
so they knew they had the shine.
He said to him, hey Jake, and Jake's like, bye Nudie.
Bye, veal. Yeah.
Bye Veal.
Don't be undercooked next time I see you.
It's not. I don't even have a problem with it. It's just funny. I understand. I usually pick up those little like continuity errors where it seems like it took too much time. But
continuity?
no,
Oh,
continuity.
Oh, I thought you said
He's not Jeremy. We don't have a fucking Jeremy on our show. Good God. Next thing you're going to be
No, I
saying.
thought you said that on purpose. Continuity.
Continuity? Contaveal.
That would have been funny, but no, I didn't. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Dave. It doesn't
That's
bother
all
me here.
minuscule,
Maybe because I
but-
like the movie, but
I like
I
it
know
too.
what you
Don't
mean.
get me wrong. And speaking of The Sixth Sense, I literally watched it a week ago for the first time in probably 20 years. I have not sat down and watched The Sixth Sense. I don't even own it. But what the hell did we do? Did we rent it? Maybe. How the hell? Oh no, it was on some streaming somewhere. It was somewhere. I forgot where it was. But anyway, my wife and I were talking about it. And when's the last time you saw The Sixth Sense? A long, long time. Let's watch it. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't think it was going to hold up, but I really enjoyed it. And then I watched this movie, and here's the deal. I just watched this movie when I was taking that time off of work. So like whatever, a month or two ago, less than that. So I had just seen it, and I really loved it then. Watching it this time, I'm not saying I wasn't as high, but you know how you watch a movie and then you watch it again maybe a month later and it doesn't suck you in as much because you just saw it. So I
Yeah.
kind of like in the middle I kind of drifted off a bit, but that's on me. Bottom line is, which one do I like better? I don't know, but they're both very good movies.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and
I score them pretty much identical. It just like I don't know why it's that way, but they're both like identical. But it's I just like the puzzle aspect of this as well.
Yeah,
Like-
I like the
it's
dream
great.
sequences. I like, you know, he has the dream of Frank and of Frank's house and the gunshot, and then he wakes up and he goes through that again. The whole deja vu aspect of it, and the way the dream sequences play out. I enjoyed it.
I like the fact that it's in his house and there's a good reason for it, and he's resistant at the beginning
Yeah.
and everything else, and he gets it makes sense why he goes on the quest, and because he's hypnotized and it happens, and it just so happened to take place in his house, so it ties everything up right. I love movies like this. There are 4 movies that have a similar type of thing where somebody wants to be discovered because of something wrong that was done to them. And I love them all. There's this movie, there's The Ring, there's The Changeling, and there's a movie called Ghost Story, which I'm hoping somebody will select one because it's
Ghost
on my
Dad?
list. And in Ghost Daddy, yes.
Ghost Dad me.
Bill Cosby was framed in Ghost Daddy. They need to right the wrong. Imagine that, Ghost Dad
Based on a
too.
true story, yeah.
Yeah, and he
I
was
did
innocent.
rape her.
Wait, Christian, Ghost Dad me again.
Yeah.
Right?
Ghost Dad me.
Ugh.
Oh my God.
I hope that looked good.
It looked great. It's got to happen in the movie when we make it. Ghost Dad.
Don't stab me.
Ghost Dad me.
Now, did that happen in
And
Ghost
he knew
Dad?
instantly when I said Ghost Dad me what to do.
Did that happen in Ghost Dad, or is
Yeah,
it a-
he reaches through Bill Cosby reaches through the phone and
Okay.
chokes Dana Ashbrook. He chokes the boyfriend.
I didn't know. I thought maybe guys were saying that Cosby choked out women because I don't remember what he did.
Oh no, he chokes out the
Anyway.
boyfriend.
That was in real life. That was in real life, Dave.
Ghost Dad me, right? Did you guys see when Bill Cosby was cursing in court after he got sentenced and shit? And he said
Nah.
some dirty words. Oh, it's funny because it's Bill Cosby. I forgot what he said. Maybe by the end of the show I'll pull it up. It's funny because it's Bill Cosby. He's motherfucking somebody or so. It's great.
Can't say clucking.
Exactly. Film, flower, and filth. Right.
I didn't say no filth and foul and filth. That's why Eddie Murphy's a genius.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Anyway.
Sorry, yeah.
Those
He's not in
hypnosis scenes in the theater, especially later on when he goes back under and she's there, and I mean that's really unsettling.
It's very well done. It's
Yeah.
Such a good story. The way, like you said, like Christian said about the puzzling it together and everything else.
Well, that, it makes sense, like when he has these visions and they're not just thrown in there for shits and giggles, like so many movies do. Like at the tooth scene, he's like, and it falls out, and then it's like, he's all normal. And like,
Very,
what
very
was that?
poltergeist-like with the guy pulling his face off.
Yeah, it does remind me.
Yeah.
Nice nods to classic horror films and really well done. Makes sense. The time frame makes sense. You know, this girl disappeared about 6 months ago. And you know, the house, this is the first time they're renting out the house. They just
That's
fixed
what
it
I
up.
wanted to ask you guys. What about the skeletal remains of her? Was that, I don't know. Would that be 6 months later? Did she look
Yeah,
too skeletal?
You know, I thought about that. I'm not sure.
Did she look too what now? Fresh
Skeletal.
or
Too much of a skeleton already? Should she
or
be
too
more of like
skeletal?
in that? But I know she would have been decayed, but would she have still had like some flesh on the bone?
Hey, you're
Meat on the bone?
you're decayed, tooth decayed.
I'm a meth head.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe because they
Chris
put him in the...
Rhodes says like, hey, I need help. It was Chris, or no, John Rhodes, his brother.
Chris Rhodes.
John Rhodes say I need help because it sounded like I was like on something the last episode.
Oh, you were
You were-
bouncing all over the place. He said on screen or something.
I do this all the time. I jump all over the place every episode. What shows you been listening to?
He still thinks you're super handsome though.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's great. I'm going to take one of his cigars and just going to stick it right in my tooth.
Now we have a John.
Yeah.
John, a.k.a. Chris, and Chris, a.k.a. Scott. That's fucking great. Chris Rhodes. I love that. Oh, shit. Oh. I like how in the beginning they set it up by when they go to the party, the guy that looks like Jim Belushi, whatever the hell his name is, says to, they're talking about something, and it's just, the only reason I thought about it this time is because I just saw it a few weeks ago. And he says it's nice to live in what the hell did he say? He goes, hold on. But how did he suggest it? He basically said that it's great to be in a neighborhood where we all look out for each other.
Yeah.
He just says it at this party, which sounds like a throwaway thing, but then later on you find out.
Yeah.
You know.
And he does look like Jim Belushi. And Ghost Girl at the end, when they find the skeletal remains, looks like John Belushi.
Now, that's horrible but funny. What about the whole retard thing? It's like, God, you can't say that. Like, he gets so defensive about it.
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't like the fact that he's connected to that girl or something. Like, he really gets mad about it. Like, that guy brings it up and he's instantly like offended by it.
Maybe he's upset because that guy knows what's up and he doesn't want him thinking that his son was interested in somebody that had a disability.
He didn't know. I didn't think that guy knew it was up.
Oh, I thought that was one of the fathers. Wasn't there like three?
No. It was.
Yeah.
It was. Oh, I thought it was. No.
Oh, you're talking about the one who
said the house.
Oh, you're talking about the one who said retarded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First
The
guy
guy who
that
said retarded was just like a goofy neighbor.
Just a guy.
But the one who
guy
yelled at him was the other father.
It's John Belushi.
Right.
Jim.
No.
What are the fucking Belushis?
Yeah, because he almost attacked him.
Frank yells at him, and Harry's there. That's right. Frank's the one who does them. It's Frank and Harry are the two fathers, and then Adam and Kurt are the kids.
And the great line.
There was three of them. Wasn't there 3 boys and 3 dads?
No, it was Ghost Dad.
Okay. Well, why did I think there was 3 boys in there? No, it was just 2.
Just 2.
Just 2. Adam and Kurt. The one who shoots himself.
And she has his hair in the hand.
Man. That's see, that's the thing. That's another thing that I like about this film is that the two groups, the one father and son were obviously very remorseful. One kid didn't even really, I mean, he panicked and kind of put the plastic over it, which is stupid, but like Frank and his son kind of were like, they did a bad thing, but they weren't as bad as Harry and Kurt. I mean, Kurt, they
were going to cover it up again.
Yeah, like, Kurt raped this girl, and then and then Harry was going to kill everyone just to cover it up again. When Frank's like, "This got to stop." So I like that.
When he hears Kevin Bacon destroying the house, it's like, it's a rented house. It's rented. It's the guy that rented it to him. He's all pissed off because it's just tearing it to pieces.
Ridiculous.
You can't even get to the water main from under the house. I know that now.
Yeah. I thought that was a good cover-up. That was a good cover-up. But again, It's another one of those Scream 4 revelations. Like, that were, all of a sudden, we've had a couple movies in a row where it's like, I didn't get hit in the shoulder, or we have matching wounds. Well, how would they know that? And he's like, oh, I was trying to get to the water main under the house. It's a very similar plot device.
And then he screams, "You just got Kirby'd!" And he kills him.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I enjoy this, even though I watched it not 3 months ago, Dave. But like I said, it was just over 6 months ago because it was, like I said, over the Christmas holidays.
You guys are prepping way too early. I watched it 2 nights ago.
I watched it again, and I enjoyed it again. And my wife even watched it and said, "Didn't you just watch this?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "It's a good movie."
I like Kevin Bacon. There's one scene in here where he starts acting like a baby. He's like, "I'm supposed to dig," and she's like, "Stop!" "No, I won't stop." "No, I won't stop." I laugh at that scene. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but it's funny.
He goes, "No, I won't stop."
There was that's like a Kevin Baconism. He's usually quite solid. I
think he's great. I think he's a terrific actor, and I think he's great in this. Sure. I think everyone really does a fantastic job in this.
Me too. I think he's an asshole in the beginning, though. The whole thing and first of all, what the fuck why even have that scene? In retrospect now, what did it have to do with the plot whatsoever?
Well, with her being pregnant?
Her being pregnant. The way he reacted to it, he was a fucking total asshole to this absolute beautiful sweetheart woman.
Sweetheart woman, but they're fucking struggling.
They're
The
struggling,
regular
and he
Come
feels like
on.
he feels like a failure.
He feels like a failure. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't an assholey thing, but I think it's realistic. Like I think I can understand it kind of like I think we've all been there like holy fuck, how am I gonna make this work? Another college fund I have to fucking worry about.
I guess it just seemed like he was a
You're
little.
right though. No, I think
wouldn't
Maybe
say
this
that
one will
shit.
be retarded. He even says. And then Frank Brandon said, "You can't say that."
it's in the director's cut.
was
Stop! He just pulls up from the window. Stop using that term.
I didn't know that in 1999 we already had political correctiveness. I know not to use that word for a long time. No, seriously. I thought in 99 that was a word that was still more commonly used. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's been that long. But that kind of took me by surprise.
It is kind of early. I was watching a
That's
movie
what I-
the other day from like 2008, and faggot was being used in 2008.
Sure. It was
Yeah.
used in Freddy vs. Jason.
That's
Well,
true.
that's 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still.
I'm just saying, 2008. I was like, whoa, it's still being used. Cool.
Well, they still use it. When,
Cool. I love it.
oh my god.
Cool.
Oh.
He was. It's okay though, because he wasn't a retarded faggot. You can't say that.
I wish we had a soundboard. Just so anytime someone says something insulting, I could press the button for that thing in the movie. You can't say that. Damn, I gotta get that board. I'm telling you. That'd be great. But yeah, what about that pregnancy? It didn't have anything to do with anything in the rest of the movie. And on top of it, and I'm not complaining because I like to see it the whole movie. I confess. But the whole rest of the movie, this woman is showing off her belly button. She wore fucking half shirts in 90% of the shots that she's showing in this movie. She's wearing a fucking half shirt or less. There's only one scene when her fucking stomach's covered.
That's how much that's how much they're struggling financially. They can't even afford the second half of the shirt.
Well, Dave, I think you're right. I think what happened is it's a character trait. That scene that's put in to give her a little bit more dimension, but also to show his side as well, and to reiterate everything we just talked about. But yeah, from a plot structure, there is nothing.
And it never comes up. It's like, but it never comes. You would think, when he's falling apart and everything else, and he's digging, and all the conversation that she's being ignored. She would say something. Hey, listen, we have a child on the way. Are you going to be able to concentrate and be a father to the child? You can't even pay attention to me. You know what you would think that it would be thrown in somewhere else with all the turmoil and the stress in their relationship throughout the film. And it's not. It's like the Scream fucking 2 thing where they started off and fucking, and I said that they just dropped the angle about, them being copycat killers fucking halfway through the movie.
Here we go again.
I complained. Well, I'm saying I think it's a legit complaint there and here. And the shit with what's her name, Tatum, how she never comes up again. I don't know. I just see that it's like the writer started something and then I don't know. Maybe somebody at the studio took it out. I don't know. Just odd. That's all.
Maybe the baby comes out with the broken glasses
and says, "You just broke my glasses."
he broke his glasses in Atrocious when he leaned over the well. Christian, you broke your glasses.
Really?
A lot of broken glasses. Is there any broken glasses in Jaws? Maybe that's the connection to these 3 movies.
Well, the guy takes his glasses off so they don't, but he hands them to Brody. I have a good feeling that after everything that happens, those glasses are most likely broken.
Yeah.
And Brody had a second pair in his socks, so I'm sure his second pair is broken. So there's probably a lot of broken glasses.
Yeah.
So there's 3 broken glasses?
There might be. I like the way he puts his glasses in his mouth. Why don't put? I would have, if I was Richard Dreyfuss, I would have been like, take my glasses out of your mouth.
I know, right?
We ain't that close.
Oh shit.
Oh, okay. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. His power builds. I like the fact that the sister-in-law alludes to the fact that there's like a very small percentage of people who are really susceptible to going, 8% going deep under. Deep under.
Deep under. Yeah, I know. That's cool. And she poked him with a pan and all that shit.
Yeah, they tormented him. And then he's like, he knows the grandmother's dead ahead of time,
Yeah. That's cool. It's an awakening. I can see something like that happen if you believe in that. That you're hypnotized. And the guy even asked him, what happened? He goes, was there a concussion? Did this happen? A car accident? Did you just lose a child? He said, no, hypnotized. And he goes, oh, okay. And, and then he explains more about it.
Like Biggie Smalls.
Like Biggie Smalls. Absolutely.
Hypnotized.
Awesome. Now, let me tell you this. What about the fact that why would there be, in 1999, they go to a high school football game and everybody's getting fucking metal detectors?
Unbreakable stole this scene.
Unbreakable?
It happened right after Columbine. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I don't know. Isn't that the same
Was
year?
it? 99?
99?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying, I could go to a high school game now and it wouldn't happen. Well, there wouldn't be a game now. You know what I mean. In 2019, during the football season, I could have gone to
checking you for COVID.
Right. Is Chicago that bad? I was thinking. I'm like, holy shit, a high school game and everybody that's coming in is getting the fucking full treatment? Wow. So I guess maybe it is post-Columbine, kind of like post-9/11 shit. So, yeah, okay. That's fair. It just struck me as odd. I'm like, wow, it's...
The only reason, I guess, I just couldn't believe how many people are going to a high school football game. But I guess that's what we're living in,
Big
this
game.
life. His son's in the game, and one of the sons in the game, and that was great.
He did pretty good
Big
considering he had a
rivalry.
bullet hole in his head.
Who had a bullet hole in his...
The son, he shot himself. And then he still played that night. Like, I'm going to make a big game. But you're retarded now. You can't say that!
That was cool, that scene, though, when how he comes out and he sees Jim Belushi come out and say, they're going to kill you, and he sits down, this is a good neighborhood, and then the way it leads to him going to his neighbors, and then this is a total freaking Final Destination scene. He wakes up from the dream, and then he goes by, and everything that he saw the first time is happening. Remember the mail lady's coming?
Yeah.
Tell me, didn't you think of like Final Destination when that? It's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way it played out, and he goes to the house, and the kid that shot himself is not the kid that did the raping or anything like that, or killed anybody. Pardon me.
See, I think he was the one that was worse.
So
No,
he was the worst of the
he
sons?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
He was the one who put the plastic over her head, but he didn't rape her. The other
No,
one,
I think you got it backwards. I think it's the other way around.
Nope.
Actually, you're right. I'm wrong.
Good. It makes sense because you want it to be that way.
Yeah.
'Cause- okay, that's fine because
Yeah.
you got asshole father equals asshole son.
Yeah.
And you got decent man versus decent son over here.
Yeah, and that's why he shot himself. He couldn't live with the guilt anymore. I mean, it's all
Okay.
like the remorse. It's like I don't think he expected that encounter with her to lead to that, but they were drinking, and the other one was just a rapey drunk.
That was the other thing that was a little much. I remember that was when my wife came in to watch it again. Is when he's having the dream, and I forgive it because it's a dream sequence. But they took it that one step further where he does the shooting and he's rubbing the blood all over.
It's scary though.
It was creepy, but I thought it was a little unnecessary as well.
Maybe I guess it was a
Did
cheap
it work?
scare.
Did it work? Sure, but I think at the time I liked it more back in the day than I did when I was watching it this time. What are you laughing about over there, you fuck?
Your
Keep
microphone.
Keep hitting your mic every 2
I
seconds.
knew it. Damn.
Fuck this episode.
Oh shit. But all that stuff where he's like call Vanessa and ask about Debbie when the son says that to the mother and all that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And it's very believable that the mother would just like overlook the fact that this like
Right.
yeah, you would because she's like overwhelmed, she's pregnant, she's dealing with this kid, the husband's losing his mind, and he's she's just dealing with a million things, and you would just be like, oh, I'll call Vanessa and get
I
that.
could buy that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
He realizes later. How about the scene right before he says, "You can't say that"? Right, when he initially asks about the girl, and he says, "Oh," and he says, well, "What do you want to know about her?" And he goes, "I've been thinking about her a lot lately."
Yeah, that came off creepy.
Yes, it did.
I was like, all right, take it easy, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Oh man, why would you say that? Why would you admit that? I've
He
been
was
thinking
getting-
about this girl a lot lately.
He did save himself by saying though that they were going to get the sister to babysit, or had she babysat already?
Yeah, no, he said that. He goes, yeah, she was babysitting that night, wasn't she? That's why they went to the
Oh,
beach.
okay, that night. That's right, that night.
Yeah.
But there was some subtleties there which between them that were kind of cool. Like right when you watch it so close together, you go back and you kind of look at the interplay between the dads a little bit. Like, oh well, and like some extra drinks and whatever without being like too winky, nudgy, nudgy. But I'll just throw winky in every episode now. The other part that he was assholey, you talked about the pregnancy part, was also about the grandmother dying. And he knew right before the phone call.
Asshole?
Yeah, when he's like,
Well,
you want me to go with you?
Yeah. Like he
Oh,
she's like, what do you mean? Of course I want you to go with me, but he wants to dig up the fucking backyard.
No,
Yeah.
I won't stop.
Yeah.
You gotta go back and watch that part, Dave. I'm surprised. I feel like you're gonna love it. He goes, no, I won't stop.
I won't. I know exactly what Brandon's talking about. Yeah.
Funny. Oh,
It's
that's
right
good.
up there. Like, I mean, if you had a few more of those moments, I think he'd be like in the Nick Cage category. But because he's wrangled it in and seemed to be able to not let those moments come out so much, I think he's still Kevin Bacon and not Nick Cage.
I should hope not, or I should hope so. Excuse
And
me.
not Chris P.
Lettuce?
No, Chris P. Bacon.
Oh, crispy bacon. Okay, all right. Sorry, lettuce was way off. Oh shit. How about that thing about I don't want to go home because of the feathers?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, it is. He goes, what do you mean the feathers? Just the feathers. That's all he knew. Just he's scared of the feathers. He doesn't want to be around those
Shut up
fucking
and go to
feathers.
bed, kid.
Yeah. Oh.
Put your head right in the center of the pillow, you little fuck.
And I like how the guy explained the stuff when he was like, some people get it for 5 seconds and some people have it their whole life. I like that. That sounds
like that too.
sound believable. Like anybody could get it for 5 seconds. Everyone thinks at one time or another they've had some type of thing happen. Like, you don't know how you figured something out. You just knew. So it's kind of cool. I
Shut
like
the
when
damn door! Those guys are really, really paranoid there.
Oh, I know, weren't they? Wow.
In that back alley thing where she shows up.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what is he wearing? What shirt is that? Something that I'd see in Brandon's wardrobe.
That's a dashiki.
Yeah.
You can't say that. Actually, I'm not allowed to wear that. You can't wear that.
I'm not allowed to wear.
He's gonna wear that on his date.
That's like witch garb. You know what I mean? It's something for
Witch
ritual.
garb.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That'd be a good name for like a store like that.
Witch garb. Yeah.
Witch garb.
Yep.
Like what was like the place that sold dark gothy clothes?
Oh, Hot Topic?
Hot Topic. I want to rival it with Witch Garb.
Do it up. Let's do it. It's next on our list.
Patron money's going way up.
That should be the name of our merchandise store.
Witch garb? Why
Witch
not?
Garb. Hit up the Exploding Heads Witch Garb.
Let's do it. I can do it. Witch garb. The patrons will understand.
Got it here. All right, time for the Goosebumps giveaway. Where is it?
Time for it.
Gone.
Just look good. Wouldn't Brandon's head just look fucking good?
Where's
on my bed?
Goosebumps? That's what Goosebumps usually is.
Oh, it's gone.
Gave it away.
You sold it?
No, it's a box. The game's
Okay.
been torn to pieces.
Sorry. Okay. Who tore it? The cat?
I went in to look for the directions after the first time. It's right here.
Oh, hey, there's that goose.
Hey, you can't play that.
Oh, boy. He's dropping games all over the
All
floor.
the pieces are gone.
You
He's
can't
good.
play that.
How about that cool transition shot with the glasses on when he turns into her, so to speak, and
Yeah.
he sees after he touches her? That's a cool shot. All of a sudden he has glasses on his face, and they go in and it's her glasses and you see through her eyes. That shit with the fucking nail. Oh, man.
The nail and the tooth, too cringy.
And the tooth.
Yeah. Oi. Oi.
Hey, was there a tooth knocked out in Atrocious or no? Because if so, there'd be 3 movies with somebody missing a tooth.
Oh, what, Quint?
Yeah, a.k.a. Christian. Yes.
Quinstian.
I don't want to draw a comparison between these films anymore.
Okay.
I had to say it so slow so it came out right.
Right? You mean Quinstian? Quinstian Churchill.
Oh, my Lord.
Quinstian Churchill.
Show's going off the rails.
Okay. Anyway, I gotta say, I'm really sad. I like the shot when she puts the coat on and walks away.
Yeah.
That's nice. And then at the very end, though, I'm really sad for the kid when they're driving by the
man,
houses
that's
and
creepy.
imagine
just
living that way.
Uh,
Yeah. What a sad type of ending. And I wasn't expecting that.
One
You know
thing that would have elevated this to the next level is like when she puts the coat away, looks up, and she walks, and she just got hit by the car and rolled over. Like she actually came back to reality. Like,
Were you
"Ah,
commentating?
the
Were you
leprechaun."
commentating? Were you commentating that? Because I was. I was like, bitch, look out for the car.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a living thing.
Oh, that's great. And
Yeah,
she
but
didn't
I
seem
did it,
slow to me. I don't know why they didn't even have to throw that in. Why did they throw that word in there that caused so much ruckus? She seemed normal to me.
She was probably a tiny bit slow,
Yeah, I guess,
a
but-
tiny bit, but they threw it in there because she seemed like socially awkward and stuff like that.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, she says, "You can kiss me if
Simple
you
girl.
want." Yeah, it's simple.
Simple's good. I'm a simple guy. It should have been more like Rhonda the retard from Trick or Treat, like autism. You know what I mean?
You can't say that.
That's what her nickname was in the movie, Rhonda the retard. And they said she goes, well, she's not retarded, she's autistic. Remember the way she was in Trick or Treat with all those pumpkins that Brandon doesn't have a problem with, but only in Halloween.
That's how artistic she was. She made all those pumpkins.
Okay.
You said she's artistic.
You're right. That's
Waka
exactly.
woo.
Yeah.
Waka woo. Anywho.
Yeah, but that is a creepy scene at the end where he's just covering his ears and you just hear all the voices.
But I think it's gonna be okay because he's got his father now, who's a believer.
True.
So that's what I took a little bit of comfort at. Like, okay, they're getting a fresh start. They think they're going to a nice neighborhood. Yeah, it's a little creepy because now they're in a neighborhood that's got a lot of ghosts and a lot of spirits haunting it, but it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Do we know if there's a sequel to this book or a follow-up to the book?
Yeah, it's an all lizard cast and it's called Stir of Geckos.
I set that up perfectly, didn't I?
Yeah.
It's my own fucking fault.
See?
I apologize.
And
to
that
you.
book is off the
I
scales.
don't know where I was looking.
That book is
Dave.
totally
Look at me.
totally off the scales.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Off the scales.
I just want to.
Hey, you look like Brandon with that light. If you brought that light closer, he'd look just like me. This fucking guy.
Radioactive. Anyway, I don't know, man. Like, I think we went through the whole caboodle.
Yeah, the whole
What
enchilada.
about the gunshot? You hear, like, when Frank tells him to get out of here, you assume Frank's gonna kill himself.
Head fake. I think
know
that's
it's
a head fake.
I know it's a head fake, but do you think that it's like he was going to kill himself and he just kind of like freaked out at the end
Fucked
and
it up?
just shot like in the air, like? Because I always
Gave
thought
himself
like
the old Guardian Henry. It is a head fake because you think he committed suicide.
the old
and then- I don't know why that's what given the ghost dead. It's been 2 episodes now. But then it's just for us, the audience, to think that he committed suicide only for the whole.
But at the same
Saving
time,
the day.
when he does, pop back up and kill Kurt and Harry,
Kid.
he does say they were gonna kill the both of you. It's not right. This was a decent neighborhood, so it's almost as if like I think he was gonna kill himself, but then he realized he had unfinished business, and he's gonna make it right.
Yeah, right on. Ratings? Now we're all doing it.
Jesus.
Oh, shit.
8.5 out of 10.
Hey, same here. 8.5, exactly.
And I'm a 9.
Right on. All right.
I'd like to nominate it for the Hall of Fame, and not in.
I don't think so.
We don't do that anymore. There's no head ratings anymore, so you're not nominating shit to anybody.
You're right, because only 3 fucking people out of 100 liked head
Fuck
ratings.
up. We talked about it in the last episode. I don't know you to hear it again.
Oh, sorry.
Christian, I see your red shirt, and I wish you'd take it back.
Oh, man.
So,
Fucking skunk.
I'm glad it looked like he froze there for a second.
uh-oh. No, we're good today. No tech difficulties. Rock and roll. Here we are. Okay, so I'm going to play this it's long overdue. It wasn't even necessarily something that had to be played on the show, but I think it's a good topic, and it's from a patron anyway. So I said, why not? This is Chris, aka Scott, and he has something to say about selecting a favorite franchise and what goes behind it. So it's a 6-part thing because these things only go a minute in Messenger. But here we go.
What's up, Dave Z? This is your boy Chris, aka Scott, patron member. Got a question for you. My buddy Gary Miller and I have had this conversation several times. What constitutes being your favorite franchise? So he and I are both 44 years old, so in the same wheelhouse as you and Christian and Brandon, give or take a few years. So if you take Friday the 13th versus Texas Chainsaw Massacre versus Halloween versus Nightmare on Elm Street, my buddy Gary has always said Friday the 13th was his favorite franchise, yet over the last 5 years or so, he readily admits that Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2 are his favorite horror movies of all time. He likes them better than any Friday the 13th movie. I myself have always said that, hang on, I'm about to get cut off. I have Halloween 1, 2, and 3 all in my top 5 horror movies of all time. So I have always said that Halloween was my favorite franchise. So if you want to break it down further, I also have Texas Chainsaw Massacre as my number 2 horror movie ever, and the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my number 2 horror film of all time, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 is at the bottom of my top 10 of all time.
Wow.
So Friday the 13th, if you want to break it down percentage-wise of how many movies of the series that I like, that would probably win, because I watch Friday the 13th Part 1 through 6 every year without fail. Now, I'm not a fan of 7, 8, or 9, so to speak, or 10. Remake is fine.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And Freddy vs. Jason, I think, sucks ass. So basically, here's my question. And it's regarding my friend Gary's lists, basically. If he likes Texas Chainsaw Massacre Parts 1 and 2 as his 2 favorite horror movies of all time, but he likes the Friday the 13th franchise as far as the bulk of the movies go, better than any of the other franchises, if you compare it head-to-head as far as how many entries in the series he likes, he says that is his favorite franchise. What's your opinion? Does having 2 movies from one franchise being in your top 5 horror movies of all time trump the fact that there's another franchise where you may like a percentage of those movies better than the percentage of the other franchise? I know that's kind of confusing, but you know what I'm saying. What do you think? So anyway, I don't mean to ramble. These messages keep cutting me off after 60 seconds. Like I said, the Halloween franchise is my favorite because the first 3 of those movies are in my top 5 of all-time horror movies. Parts 4 and 5, they get worse for me over the years. Every time I watch them, I've never really cared for Part 6. H2O, I've never cared for either. Resurrection is fucking dog shit. The Rob Zombie movies are very good, although I've only seen them twice each. And Halloween 2018, I've seen it 3 times at this point. It's got some really good scenes, but overall, I just think it's good, but not great. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first 2 are just all-timers. Part 3 is good, but not great. The Next Generation is fucking unwatchable. The 2003 remake I like. I've seen it several times. I'm a little bit up and down with it, but I like it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, I'm kind of middle of the road with it. It's just kind of average to me. Texas Chainsaw 2013, I thought it was an abomination the first time I watched it, but when I rewatched it earlier this year, I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thought it was entertaining. So I actually like that one better now than the remake or the beginning. And the Leatherface movie that came out in 2018, I didn't care for. But then you go to Nightmare on Elm Street, and the first two Nightmare on Elm Streets are in my top 15 horror movies of all time, but I think the rest of them are pretty much dog shit, except for Part 3. Part 3 is good, but I don't like it nearly as much as most other people seem to. I used to be really high on it. Now I'm just kind of like, it's good, but not great.
And this is the last one.
So, after all this mindless rambling, again, my main question is, how would you constitute your favorite franchise? If you have 2 or 3 movies from a certain franchise that are better than any other movie from a different franchise, would you rank that ahead of a different franchise that you like the bigger percentage of those movies? Like I said with Friday the 13th, I watch the first 6 of those every year, whereas Halloween, I'm only dedicated to the first 3, really. And Texas Chainsaw, I'm only dedicated to the first 2. But I like those movies better than any Friday the 13th movie, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I didn't feel like typing all this bullshit out, so I just wanted to record this and send it to you. I'm not expecting you to play this on the show. This is just for your own.
Turn it off!
But
you can't say
Get back
that.
to me if you want. If not, that's cool too.
So there you go. Of course, I'm going to play it on the show because it's a topic, and it's easier to.
I agree with almost everything he said there about the Fridays. The first 6, Texas Chainsaw first 2, Halloween first 3. I almost like identical, and yet it's still hard to pick a favorite franchise.
Well, we just had this discussion earlier this year, and there's some back and forth because he watched Texas Chainsaw 3D after I went on my little Texas Chainsaw Massacre binge, and then started saying I might think it's my new favorite franchise. Now, listen, I'm a Friday fanboy through and through, but I love Texas Chainsaw 2. I like all the franchises. I love Halloween franchise. I like the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Yes, there's some dog shit ones in there, but when I went back to revisit the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, there's 8 movies, and 8 movies, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And and almost verbatim what Chris said, was that the first 2 are fantastic. Yeah. 2 totally different films, but fantastic movies. But I really like Leatherface. So I'm above average than what he, like, way above what I think he says for Leatherface.
Wait, part 3? Part 3? Or you're talking about
part 3? Part 3 as well. And the other one, to be honest, but part 3 is well.
I love the newest one.
But I like Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw 3, Return or Next Gen, whatever. It's horrible. But I said at least the last watch, I dug the first half of it a little bit. Second half is just a mess, brutal. Remake I like a lot. Beginning I like more than remake. 2013. I actually really dug, and again, similar thing. I watched it way back when it first got released, said, what the fuck is this? But I really liked it. And again, to wrap this up faster, like Brandon just said, the Leatherface movie, I really dug as well. I watched it back at the beginning of this year. So that's 8 or 7 really solid ones, 2 that are amazing, and then 1 that, like, the part 4, which is shit. Friday the 13th, though, like you said, I'm not big on 7. I'll watch it. Not big on 8. I'll watch it. Jason Goes to Hell, I've stopped watching, but I'll watch it for the show. I mean, I do like Jason X, and I don't hate Freddy versus Jason as much as he said as well. But where I'm going with it is there's more movies there. But if you take my ratings, my overall ratings, my average for Texas Chainsaw Massacre is higher.
So is it overall rating then? You think that's a good way to go? Because I agree. I'm actually thinking about it. I'm not as familiar. I've only seen each of them probably once or twice for the middle 4 Texas Chainsaws. But I love 1, I love 2, and I love Leatherface. The last one that came out. I loved it. It made the top 17 or whatever. It made the list. Top 18 of 18 or 17 of 17. But
watch Friday more.
I do watch Friday more, but I totally agree with him. I'm a 1 through 6 guy now. I'll
As am
watch.
I. Yeah.
I'll watch 7 for the nostalgia.
Always have
factor.
been.
For the nostalgia factor, but after that,
I do like the
only, I like the remake, but I don't love the remake, but I like it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like I said, ratings average, and Texas Chainsaw outweighed it. Have I watched Friday the 13th series more? Absolutely. No question about it. I've watched the series more, way more. But going through the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series this last time, I was like, wow. As a bulk of a film series, with as many fucking variations of timelines as Halloween does, if not more, it stands up. It's really good. With really, at the end of the day, just that fourth installment being the weak link.
Yeah. Halloween, I'll take. I love 1 through 3. I could leave the rest, but I mean, I'll watch them, but I don't despise them as much as other people do. I do love Rob Zombie's H2 though. I really love that movie now, and but I think as an overall, and I'm gonna say it now before we record it next show, and I've been saying it. I think at this current moment, now it could change because it's been a while since I watched the films. The Saw franchise is my overall favorite because even my least favorites, which were probably the last 2, maybe part 5, I still rate them probably, 6s.
That's fair.
So I've always loved each of those movies just going into it just for the sheer twists and traps and everything you're getting. I think they haven't really kind of gone off the rails in terms of not giving you that. At least
I only have one below a 6 in that series, but I'm different than everybody else. When I can't just go by rating, like, let's say amount of movies divided by average rating and what comes up higher. I can't do it that way because, okay, I'm different than everybody else in my opinion here because I'm gonna cook up some hot cheese here and say something. Hot cheese. I think all franchises basically suck. It's just when I make a list of my favorite franchise, it's basically which franchise do I think sucks the least. That's what I think it comes down to. I think there's so many disappointing movies in franchise. Some of the worst horror movies I've ever seen that are in franchises, and I just really think that most of them are shitty. And I'm not going to be like other people that just like it because it's part of a franchise. Like, I'm honest, like the Hellraiser thing. People fucking hate on those Hellraiser sequels, and me, I'm known to not like bad movies. Well, I watched these movies and I didn't find any of them bad. So I didn't understand why some people are shitting on them so high.
So the Hellraiser is your favorite series now.
So now, this is the thing with Friday the 13th. This is why it stays number 1. And I think this ties into what he was saying. It's the only franchise for me where the first 4 movies, there's 3 10 out of 10s and a 9. That's how I feel about those movies. And then I have, and I really like 5, and I'm okay with 6. And then 7, 8, and 9, you know what I mean? But, I'm okay with 10, and I'm okay with Freddy vs. Jason, and I'm okay with the remake. But the thing is, just because of the first 4 and the way I feel about them, it's always going to be that no other series hits those highs. Like Texas Chainsaw, there's a 10 out of 10, then there's like a 9, and then whatever the rest, then maybe 7 is the highest I'll go for the rest, maybe a little higher. Either way, nobody else hits the heights unless you're talking about Romero. Then the top 3 are all 10 out of 10, but then after that, the other ones don't come close.
True. Yeah.
So that's what it is. Like, and the first 2 Hellraisers are great to me, a fucking 10 and a 9. But then after that, nothing else is gonna. So I just go by that, and I'm just like going, what will I watch the most, and everything else. Halloween, the first 3 are awesome. 4 and 5, nah. 6 I like actually. H2O I like, and the zombies I like, and 18 I like. So that's why Halloween ended up being my number 2. And the thing with Saw, I agree with you what you say about Saw. I maybe have one movie that's under a 6. I really don't like one movie at all. Everything else I'm cool with, but it's like. I just think that most franchises just straight up suck. Then there's some other franchises where, in my opinion, there's not a weak one in the bunch. But I don't love any as much as I love Fridays. So it's like Phantasm.
Like Scream. Like we just did.
Yeah, but Scream I have 2 6s.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like if I look at Phantasm or Alien. Both of those two franchises to me, or Final Destination. Well, no, not Final. There's that piece of shit 4. But either way, Phantasm and Alien to me are all 6.5 or higher. I enjoy them all. They are consistent, kind of like Tremors. They're consistent, but I don't have a 10 out of 10.
Was that a joke? Tremors are consistent.
Oh, didn't mean to be, but yeah. They're consistent.
You can't say that.
But I don't love them. I love the first Phantasm, fine. I really like the first Tremors, or you know what I mean, or Alien. I love Alien. But aside from that, the rest of them are pretty good. I enjoy them, but I only love, the first 4 Friday the 13th. So even if I don't like fucking 7, 8, and 9, I'll still watch them before I'll watch the Hellraiser ones, which I just said I give a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I would rather watch Friday 7 or Friday 8, even though I don't like them. I would rather watch them than a couple random Hellraiser sequels that I think are good. I don't know why. I'm just accustomed to it. I've watched them for so many years, so it has to be my favorite. It's always been my favorite. My love for the first 4 is
for me. It's the nostalgia factor.
It truly is.
Friday 8 and Nightmare 5 are the first 2 horror movies I saw in theaters 3 weeks apart, and I'd probably rather watch those than, like you said, some of those later Hellraisers, which I've seen. I think I've seen up to 6, and I liked most of them, and I probably might even rate them a little bit higher. I definitely rate them higher than Nightmare 5 or Friday 8, but.
Oh, sure.
What?
It's that connection to childhood, and
I'll even say like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably a better movie, better horror film, and I rated a 10 out of 10. And I think the sequel I do rate a 10 out of 10, and it's a different film. But here's the reality. One Leatherface, look at all the Jason, and I'd buy part 7 and an 8 figure and a 9 figure and a 10. I'll buy them to collect them all. There's a nostalgia for Friday the 13th.
True.
Friday the 13th, the first one when it was just Pamela, and I didn't even know who Jason was.
Did you say Pamela?
Pamela, not Pamela.
I thought you said Pamela.
With the hand coming and grabbing Kevin Bacon from underneath the bed. They showed that on TV before I even knew anything, and it scared the shit out of me. And that stuck with me.
He had constant tremors.
Yeah, he had even back then. So I guess the short version is as much as I argued that I think it took over, Texas Chainsaw took over, maybe from an overall rating, but I don't just throw a Texas Chainsaw Massacre on. I don't. You gotta be in a mood for it. Whereas I'll throw on a Friday the 13th.
Anytime
Christian, you're gonna have to edit these thoughts down into a message and send them to us to play on the next show.
Done. I'm done.
But
no, I heard Michael J. Fox might be in the next Tremors movie.
No.
You can't say that.
Can't say that. But the thing is, if you have a lot of at-bats, you have to figure that into the equation. If there's a series that has like 4 good movies to you, like Psycho. Let's say I liked Psycho 4 as much as I liked 1, 2, and 3. Yes, the first Psycho, yes, I love it. It's in my top 10 and everything. But I mean, just because there's fewer made doesn't mean that I could say that's a better I have to look at the overall franchise. And even though there are lows in the Friday franchise, it's just something I feel. And maybe it is just nostalgia, but it's hard to say because I watched Nightmares and Halloweens when I was a kid too. But Friday has always been the one that it's always like I love the first Nightmare on Elm Street. After that, whatever. I mean, I'm cool with the remake, but I mean, the rest of them, I don't ever have to see them again. But I could, it's just the way I feel. It's so weird. It just comes down to a feel. You feel what you think is the best. What's your favorite? Whatever. It's always going to be Friday for me, unless some series was to come out and fucking, what if every Saw movie for me was an 8 out of 10 or higher? I would have to say it's my favorite.
But that's
what I mean.
But that's how we were almost with the Psycho franchise. The first 3 Psychos are 8 to 10s.
But it's only 3 movies.
I know, but that 4th one, it's not bad.
No, it's not. But
Evil
that's
Dead.
Not enough at bats.
Evil Dead, I have almost 3 10 out of 10s.
No, but I'm saying even if I'm agreeing with you, Dave. I'm saying even though Psycho, if I was to add up a franchise, right, 3 or more films or 4 films, Psycho would probably win if you're rating it. They probably average out to like 8.5 per film, whereas Friday might average out to less than to like 7. but it's
Right.
I agree with you.
But like he's talking about his friend. He's talking about Gary. His first two Texas Chainsaw are in his top 3 freaking movies of all time, horror movies.
Yeah.
But he prefers the Friday the 13th as a franchise, just because maybe after 1 and 2 he just isn't crazy about the rest. But Fridays he can tolerate them all, likes them all, or loves half of them. Whatever it is, you know it. You're not going to say if you just like the first 2 of a franchise that has 8 movies. Or love the first 2, well, guess what? How can that be a better franchise to you? It can't. But if Friday's better, it's just better. So
it's like you said, it's all the feels. Like I said, Saw is my favorite franchise. Yet Texas Chainsaw, 1, Halloween 1, 2, 3, Nightmare on Elm Street. Did I say Texas Chainsaw already? Yeah, I said. All these films would rank higher. Friday the 13th would be, in terms of my overall favorite films of all time, would rank higher than the Saws.
But I'm telling you, for me, there's only maybe 2 series that have more than 1 10 out of 10 in the franchise. I really think that. I think it's Friday the 13th, and I think it's Romero, if you're calling that a franchise. Other than that, I don't think it exists for me. Well, no, I can't say that. Nightmare 1 and 3. Nightmare 1 and 4.
I would say Psycho's close. I could give Psycho 2
You have 10 out of 10s? Okay, you're right. I actually give it a 9.5. I hear you. It is pretty close. And again, Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 3.
Yeah, that's Nightmare, true. I'm not there, even though I do like 3 more than he does. But
I have 3 10s, a 9, and a 7.5. That's the first 5 Friday the 13th for me.
You should relax. You're 2 10s.
But anyway, maybe we should get on to Jaws. Thank you for bringing that up, Chris. It is a really good conversation. It really is. We could even spend more time, I'm sure, but...
you could argue till you're blue in the balls.
It's always going to come down to feels. It really is. It's always going to come down to feels and nostalgia and just a state of mind that these movies put you in. It's as simple as that. It can't be anything. How can you do it based on ratings? Not many people rate movies.
No, I know, you can't. But ratings are just an extension of your feels. If you never rated movies or wrote them down or did a podcast or nothing, you feel almost that rating. It's how much you love it. It's how high you think it is. You know what I mean? So I don't even need a rating because I didn't do 10 out of 10 ratings till freaking the last 10 years. But all my life, I knew how I felt about those Friday the 13th movies. I knew how high up they were. You know what I mean?
True.
So
that's true. That's it. And I also knew how many times I fucking watched them. Wore at the VHS tapes, have the DVDs, have the Blu-rays now. And whatever. It's just the reality of it. I've watched Texas Chainsaw, always have, always will, and I loved it the last time I watched the whole series. But that's the series I will always go back to. Verbatim, I will watch like probably 8 from this series. 8 of them.
Sure.
8 from the Jaws series? There's only 4.
Yes. 8 from there's Cruel Jaws, and then there's the Jaws of Death.
It's a cruel Jaws.
Let's get on with this fucking... Speaking of Jaws, let's get on to it.
Do you know what sharks put on their toast? Butter. I'm sorry. Come on.
Maybe we should keep going on the franchise talk.
All right, let's go. Jaws, the biggie. 1975, directed by Steven Spielberg, written by Peter Benchley, Carl Gottlieb, and there's one more credit on here. Who else wrote this? Oh no, that's it.
George Lucas.
They just put they put Peter Benchley as the novel writer, but
right, sure.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, no, they just added him as they should have just had screenplay / novel under his name, not listed his name twice. Okay, when a killer shark unleashes chaos on a beach community, it's up to the local sheriff, a marine biologist, and an ocean seafarer to hunt the beast down.
All right.
I think we've all talked about loving this movie, so I don't think it should become of any surprise. Brandon just mentioned it a couple episodes ago that this would be the movie that he would love to go see if he had go back in time and see it on opening weekend.
Yeah. How does this movie, 45 years later, and this holds up as well as any movie ever? You could release this as a new movie today, and it feels real.
I love
that
and
relevant.
Same with John Carpenter's The Thing to me.
Yeah.
Some of them just feel ageless.
Yeah.
Like here, you might get a little bit of like the outfits or whatever, but I mean, okay. Besides that,
Well, sure.
from the look and whatever. But you're right, Brandon, and that's a testament to a great movie.
And the fact that Richard Dreyfuss always looked like 45 years old, even when he's like 25 in this movie.
Like Steve Martin. Like Steve Martin looks like fucking Steve Martin from like the 70s,
Steve Martin.
80s.
Yeah, Steve Martin looked like he was 60 when he was 20, but now that he's 100, he still looks like he's 60.
But this film is beautifully crafted. Talking about Friday the 13th, I will always bring this up because when we first started our podcast, TGIF 13, Vince said Friday the 13th ripped off Jaws, and I jumped down his throat and laughed at him. Friday the 13th ripped off Jaws. The beginning of this is like that whole opening of Friday the 13th with everybody singing and playing, and the two go off. True. Now they don't. And in Friday the 13th, they both get killed. In Jaws, just the girl gets killed. But it's the opening. I mean, it's beautifully done here.
She had terrible dandruff, though. Did you notice?
No.
I'm waiting for the.
Well, they found her Head and Shoulders on the beach. I'm sorry.
Nice.
Waiting for it.
Christian knew. He's like, he knows it's a joke. All right, I'm done with this joke.
No, keep going. That's what this is about. This is awesome. I will say this, and I this is going to be fighting words. I know. I'm not saying anything about the second hour of this movie, but the first hour to me of this is perfect. The second hour is almost as good. I'm still giving it almost like it's so close to it, but I find it just tails off a little bit for me in the second half, a little bit.
Interesting. When they get out there, when they actually get out there and we start seeing the shark, and it's just a 3-man show and a shark, that's when you think it's not as strong as the build-up
we're talking
with the mayor and everything else.
We're talking about a 10 versus a 10. I'm just giving you what exactly I feel here
That's
because I love the ending and the build-up, but there's just a part. I'm just feeling like I love the way they start this movie. And I love the way they progress it with the fact that you barely see anything. Like let's face it, mechanical failure or not, it worked in favor of the movie. It's just beautiful. Yeah. I love the building up of the sheriff and how he doesn't go to the water and how the locals kind of he hasn't won the respect yet in a sense, and the mayor and the boy that drowns and then the mom that comes back that looks like she's
Harry and his hat.
Like she looks like her grandmother almost, but then slaps him and says, it's like I always think that woman looks way too old to be his mom, but I
have that written down because my daughter, me and Francesca and I watched this movie like 4 years ago, I'm gonna say. And when we watched it, I showed it to her for the first time. She's 10 at the time. But as she's watching the movie, after that scene, she says, "How come all the parents in this movie look like grandparents?" She says.
It's true.
And it's true.
No, but it's the time.
Roy Scheider looks old too, honestly. Doesn't he look too old to be a father? He doesn't look as old as Miss Kittner does. But he does look a little bit older. I mean, look at me. Yeah. I'm 48. I definitely look younger than he does in this movie.
Dude, you're 40. You're going to be 48. And Richard Dreyfuss, when filming this, is 27. Anybody tell me that Dave right now looks 20 plus years older than Richard Dreyfuss does? No. Richard Dreyfuss looks like Dave's grandfather in this movie. Everybody just looks crazy. Everybody just looks older back then.
Yeah, I know. That fucking the way that they filmed it or the color. I don't know what it is, but it's true.
Was that the father of Alex Kittner? Mrs. Kittner was there. The guy that's with her is an old man too. And I'm like, is this supposed to be her father?
Yeah, I felt like that was her husband. They never even.
I don't know, but they look pretty close. I like to look at their ages, but the thing is, the girl, pardon me, I shouldn't say the girl. Roy's wife, Brody's wife. Pardon me, she looks of age. She looks like she's the mother of children that age.
Yeah.
Roy Scheider looks older to me, not as old as, like I said, as Mrs. Kittner. But I mean, it's funny because that always stuck with me. That my daughter said that to me. She goes, "How come all the parents in this look like grandparents?"
And how about that? Roy Scheider was like 42 in this.
Oh, they said he was 27. I was like, wait a minute.
That's Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss was 27. Roy Scheider, like in real life, was 42 when they filmed this. And both of them looked, 10, 15 years older.
Yeah.
Where I was going with that, don't you think Halloween took a page out of this with the damn you for letting them out? And like almost like damn you for opening the beaches or whatever. I felt like there was.
I have something.
Yeah, definitely. Quint when he even talks about the sharks, he says they have the blackest eyes. He does.
There's
He
that.
does. I know.
Carpenter
There's that
stole
exact
that.
line. I know.
Yep, I wrote that down too. The
I was
blackest.
laughing, but yeah.
And not just that line that I think Carpenter probably did on purpose. To me, and I think this would have made the sequel stronger, but to me in this movie, Hooper is the Loomis to the fucking shark. He really is. When he's talking to the fucking the mayor on the beach about, you don't understand what you're dealing with here. He's an eating machine. He's this. Yeah. He's a great white. We have this. You should see what he's doing. He talks the way he eats dogs. He does eat a dog too, and they don't make any. You notice that?
Yeah, the dog disappears.
He disappears, never comes back, and no one says anything. Obviously.
My top note: what happened to Pippet with a question mark?
There it is.
What happened to Pippet?
What happened to Gordon and Muffin? We don't know.
Well, Gordon, we know.
Yeah, Gordon got his back broken. We know that.
But don't you think Hooper wouldn't have been cooler if he came back in Jaws 2 and the sequels, and he's coming to beaches warning people about the shark and they're not believing him, just like fucking Loomis was doing in the Halloween sequels? Yeah. I think it would have been cool.
You're right. He is the Loomis, especially in the first half. I do feel like once they get on the boat out there, he's. I mean, I love that. I love the second half of this movie, but he is a little bit overpowered by Quint. But everyone is.
That's the idea that he's supposed to be overpowered.
No, I mean performance-wise. I mean Robert Shaw's performance is just next level. That was just such a fantastic performance, especially, once they get out on the boat, like all the meat and potatoes is everything he says. Although when he does this and like, I got you beat, broken heart. That was funny.
Yeah, that was great.
And you guys have seen Chasing Amy, right? Like they totally copy that sequence, right? Like verbatim, like it's not even just like a comparison of Scar. It's like the movements that they do and everything. It's like a total like recreation of that sequence. But again, it's hard because there's that sequence. There's the whole climax. There's the scene where he finds with the guy with the eye that comes out that always scares my son when we're watching.
Me too.
It's a great
still jump.
Scare.
Ben Gardner?
I jump every time. What do you say, Ben Bummer?
Ben Gardner. I actually had a Ben Bummer. Sorry, Chris. I actually had a Ben Bummer joke for a note for Stir of Echoes. Because remember, she's in the basement and the pilot goes out. She goes, "Oh, bummer."
Yeah.
And I wrote down, "Oh, bummer, Ben Bummer." I wrote that down in my notes, but I never brought it up.
God, I love her.
It's so hard to. This is what I'm saying. I just feel that I'm so into that first hour that it's just something happens just a little bit. I'm not saying that I'm taken out of the movie by any means. I'm just saying I feel like the second hour is almost as good as that setup. Even though that has a climax in it and everything else, it just somehow I find that first hour stronger.
They have so many great secondary characters in there and so much great development. So I could see that. I mean, the real meat and potatoes comes in that final showdown, the final 45 minutes. But I have no problem with that. Well, mainly because I agree with you. It's comparing a 10 with a 10.
Yeah, so. Again, it's just there's a bit
it's like I love this. I love this. I just
what can I pull?
Yeah,
make it differently. Like just the introduction of characters. I felt like he was taking a page very like Hitchcockian in a sense here. Just the way that characters are introduced, how scenes play out. Like when Quint's introduced with the nails down the chalkboard.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that.
Yeah, when he crashes the party, him and fucking Ed Gein. Yeah, absolutely. Did you notice his partner looks just like Ed Gein, doesn't say a word? He's dressed just like Ed Gein. I don't know why he's even there, but he comes in and leaves with that guy.
I'll find him for 3. I'll kill him for 10.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. And people praise this film, but I don't think I still don't think, even as much praise is heaped on this, it still gets overlooked at how influential it was, and like how many movies like Chasing Amy, for instance, fucking Jason Goes to Hell, rip that off. Quentin Duke says all that line, and you get the hockey mask, the whole 9 yards or whatever.
Oh, you're right.
Reference to Jaws. There's so many movies that have referenced this film, and I think that often gets overlooked when people talk about it.
Now, is this the movie? I know Psycho is what it is. Now, in Psycho, every time you get the shower scene, do you get? I think we do get that we do get that string composition every time Norman kills in Psycho. I'm not 100% sure when Arbogast goes down the stairs and all that. Do they play it right before he comes out? I don't
They
know,
do.
and I can't say.
They
Okay,
do.
so I
I
was
like
gonna
a shorter version.
right, but I was gonna question this. Was this the first movie where a killer, even though it's a shark, but where a killer got a theme song for its kill, like the approaching fucking, which became, what it became later with Jason and Michael and slashers and everything else. Was this the first time in a movie where the antagonist got their own theme music when they were about to attack before they had their kill? Because I'll have to give it some props for that. Again, what I said about Psycho, that may have been the first instance.
Psycho and probably some overlooked movies that maybe didn't have as much of a following. I would say yes, because everybody knows the fucking Jaws theme. And
Right.
Again, I mean, that goes down as like John Williams, like he created it. It was another one of those movies that I think a lot of people said, similar to what they said about Halloween, was that, they knew they had something good here, but it just didn't seem to come together. You throw that soundtrack on, it's like magic.
I'll tell you what, though, as great as I think the theme is, which obviously it's a timeless fucking theme and it's great and helps everything, I think that there are aspects of this score that hurt its perception of the film. I think some people do not call this a horror movie because of the score later on with the adventure music that's playing.
Action adventure, yeah.
Yes, if they would have played the music like because you could have played dark music when they're getting ready to kill the shark and they're doing other things. Instead, they played adventure music. If you could have taken like the soundtrack from fucking Hereditary and plugged it in there, and there would be no question. But I'm watching it this time again. I think this movie's perfectly paced, and I'm going to say nothing but great things about it. But that one minuscule thing about the adventure type music, I think, and I know it's a product of its time as well, but, and again, it's Spielberg and whatever, it's just different in John Williams. But I think that does hurt its perception a little bit as you're watching the movie. You hear that music, and it's like you're watching fucking Swiss Family Robinson or something. You know what I mean?
It's true, but I also respect it for that, because why do we always have to be like, again, sometimes like you have the movies that it's a sense of dread throughout, like you brought up Hereditary, and the music plays into that. But why can't we have like a movie that brings you these highs and lows and plays out like a horror film, but also has this almost sweeping like action adventure music? I kind of give it props. I totally see what you're saying,
but
and I can understand
because nothing's happening on the screen that's action adventure-y like at the time. They're just in the boat putting things together. You know what I mean? You could have played Dreadful. You could have just played Strings and have it been like Melancholy, something. It doesn't necessarily have to be gloom and doom, but the music, it's almost like and it sounds fucking, I just got the 4K, put it on, and it fucking sounds beautiful. But it's overbearing in a good way, but it's because it's blasting. But when you're watching the movie and you're seeing certain things happen, and this is not a critique, this is just me saying what I saw and the way it's perceived as a result. That's all I'm saying. It just seems like at that time, there's what's happening on the screen doesn't necessarily constitute what's being played at the time. But that's what they used to do.
They also play it as they're sailing deep out into the sea, so it's more of like the setup, for like the great, adventure and showdown that's coming. But I agree, because I like the music, and I agree with Christian that I don't mind it, but I agree with you too, Dave, in that it's not very horror-esque. They could have made it more dark and somber, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it,
but I wish
it gives you a false sense of security. Right.
I wish, like, we've seen all the great stuff John Williams has scored. He's had mellow things in his score. There's been downtime in E.T. and in Star Wars. I mean, good God, he's come up with fucking the Emperor's fucking.
I didn't wear my Jaws shirt tonight. What the fuck am I thinking?
See?
Got a Jaws shirt upstairs for fucking.
Where's your Jaws mask? Actually, you are wearing your Jaws mask. You're missing a tooth like he was.
Quint.
They call me Shocktooth.
What we call him, Quinstrin? I can't.
Here's what it is. I think, and I don't care if it's blasphemy, because I know people love this movie, but I think when they start putting the floaties out there, and they're trying there's too much of that. It's almost like it's almost like
barrels?
It's almost like it's overdone. I think we could use a little less of the barrels. I know what they're trying to set up, but that's it. I think that it just goes on a little long.
The barrels are simple, Dave. They can't. The shark can't go down and swim away. He has to come back up.
But hold on. Let me ask this. And I'm not, again, this is not a critique. This is a genuine question from me to you, okay? Because this has always confused me about the film. So they shoot, they hook up the rope to the barrels, and they shoot the arrow into the shark. So now that they can see where the shark is going because the barrel is attached to the shark, and it can't go too far below the surface. I get that. That's fine. So basically, because they do it numerous times, what's the perception is that the arrow came out of the shark and they had to start over again, right? Because they fire barrels into him like 3 different times.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's too much preparation.
Yeah, they have 3 barrels in them at one time.
So what they're saying is that eventually the shark loosens the arrow out of its body and it comes out and the things are just hanging there, right? So far, so good, or no?
I think they came undone one time, but I think the whole point was they were never supposed to go below the surface, and they're trying to insinuate that this shark was big enough and strong enough to pull them under even at one point.
Hey,
unless I'm wrong.
Okay.
It's a 25-footer.
Yeah.
20.
And
25.
and that's what builds upon. And so that's great too, because it's a good filming technique from a script standpoint and from a cinematic standpoint, excuse me, that by talking about it, you're building up this anticipation of we've seen bits and pieces of it. We're told that this shouldn't happen, yet it's happening.
Yeah.
So this fucking thing's huge.
Yeah, this shark is defying even the rules of great whites. It's doing stuff that other great whites don't even do.
And it makes sense, and I understand why they do. And then now there's a second part to this question. The part towards the end when they shoot it and it's 3 barrels, and all of a sudden they decide to head back. I believe what Quint says is we're going to head back closer to shallow water to drown it. In other words, we're going to get to shallow water. It's still hooked up to the arrows, and we got 3 things on it. So basically, we're going to bring it back, and we're going to expose it to air and kill it that way, is what they come up with, right? But how come when they're driving the boat and they turn around and they go back and he burns out the motor, that whole scene, when he's going, how are they pulling the shark? So you mean to tell me in that scene, again, not a critique, a question, there are 3 arrows in the shark. Each of these arrows is hooked up to a barrel. The barrels are on top of the water, and the other end of the rope is hooked up to the boat, and they're pulling him back that way. That's that. So they're pulling the shark solely on the arrows that are stuck into its body. So
they're not even really pulling the shark so much.
Then how is the shark coming?
He's swimming towards the barrels, really, but then he turns around and swims the other way. And dislodges. I don't know if that's like a abnormal behavior. I don't know if they just expect because he's attached to the barrels that he's going to swim with the barrels as they're pulling. But all of a sudden he puts it in reverse and heads the other way and rips those steerings out.
My dad always said his biggest complaint about this movie. He liked the movie. He liked the movie a lot because he was a Steven Spielberg fanatic as well. But he said this shark had a damn PhD. It's the smartest shark on the planet. The shark is attacking him. It's almost like he's playing with them. You almost wonder, with everything that goes on in that final hour, why didn't they just go out there and do this from the beginning, and everybody could have enjoyed the long weekend, the July 4th weekend?
Because the mayor didn't want to sign off for 10,000.
Yeah, well, that was it. I'm joking, but that solved everything because that shark doesn't leave them. He hunts, he's playing with them like a slasher would, almost like a predator with its prey.
That's why it's a horror movie. That's what makes it a horror movie. This shark defies what normal sharks do.
Yeah.
Just like any horror movie, Cujo defies what a fucking normal dog would do, or any movie with an animal attack. You don't usually see it.
Yeah, I take no issue with that.
Special. No, I don't.
And there's no issue. It's more of a afterthought for discussion.
No.
That's it.
We talked about Scream a couple shows ago, and I think we did a list of this. Did we do a list of the best introduction, the best starts to movies? Did we do a top 20 on our favorite beginnings to movies, or was it endings? I forgot what. Maybe we even did. Okay. Either way, I'm gonna say we talked about how great the obviously the introduction to Scream is, the first 15 minutes and all that. This movie here is, I think the beginning might be all my favorite. It's the scariest part of the movie. The opening kill. Maybe we talked about favorite kills, and this was in my favorite kill. Maybe it was
We did talk about favorite kills, and
this was on my list.
Quint's kill was my number 1.
And Quint's
this
kill, well,
PG.
The girls
This is a fucking PG movie.
I
The
can't.
girl's kill is fantastic, and
I
her
think it's scary.
performance is fantastic, especially that
Dude.
gasping. I
Oh
agree.
my
I totally
God.
agree with you. And the fact that you don't see anything, and
She's
it,
It looks
Oh.
realistic to me.
it does look. It looks very realistic.
like a shark would
Right.
grab a leg and move around that way. You know?
I think this movie has two of the best kills in horror films with that kill and Quinn's. I think Quinn's kill is off the fucking charts. The panic
Here we
in
go.
his acting when he's kicking, trying to get foot position on. Man, I really feel like he's being killed by that shark.
yeah.
It's a testament to his acting. It's great. And like her death is great. The aftermath of her death with the crabs.
Abs. Oh,
And what you see, and then even the autopsy, or when he's looking at the body, and whatever, you're like, oh, and like you have the severed leg later. You've got that guy popping up with the eye. Like there's a lot of stuff here. Like Spielberg got away with shit way early in his career that I thought allowed him to get away with shit later in his career too. Like this was a PG movie.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
there's a lot of
That's
crazy shit that happens.
There's a lot of blood in this movie.
yeah. I'm shocked it wasn't R. You're right.
I like the way the
agree.
deputy, when they first discover the body on the beach, when the Brody and the boyfriend who passed out on the beach are running to check it out. As they pass the deputy, he's like so like in shock over everything. He's
Yeah,
sitting there and
he's
he's
sick.
playing.
Yeah.
He's playing in the sand.
Yeah.
It looks like
He's never seen anything like that.
They do a good
Wow.
job of like, even though it kind of looks funny at times, of really capturing like genuine emotions and genuine shock of people. They did it with Michael when the shark goes into the pond.
The kid's
And-
just sitting there
he's
crying on the beach.
Oh.
Oh yeah, the little brother's sitting there crying.
Oh, that's
and
the little brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great scene though, because that's the first time you see the shark, and I love that scene where you see him like under
Yeah.
the water coming up
Oh,
to
it's
fight
so great.
the guy in the boat.
It's
That-
awesome.
There's so much good because again we were talking about in Stir of Echoes, that feeling of the community and whatever. Again, done amazing here. And again, it's Spielberg, so it's just, I guess you expect it. But the fact of amity and everything, and the way the community works, and that whole town hall meeting, I love that sequence where we were talking about earlier with Quint, and he gets introduced with the scraping of down. But just the camaraderie, the way people talk, they don't want it shut down. They don't want to lose money. You hear things like the overdub, like 3 weeks is like 3 months, or like something.
24 hours is like 3 weeks.
That's what it is. Sorry.
I wrote it down because I thought that was funny in the back.
Yeah.
24 hours is like 3 weeks.
You could just see someone in the ADR room yelling,
Yeah.
like, just doing it
Oh, because
after.
when he says just for 24
Yeah,
hours.
just for
when you're
24
having a
hours.
meeting.
There's a lady that goes, 24 hours is like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I wrote it down
Awesome.
too.
I don't find that funny. I don't find that funny. Like
Right.
that lady's reaction. Like I just love that scene. Like it's like a snapshot there, and the boating community and everything they do there. And when everybody wants to come out and think they're going to go out and get the shark, and when they get that shark and they think they've got it, like there's a lot
that
of
was
great
that was
things.
Dave Z. Dave Z. Remember the guy's like, what kind of shark is that? And Hooper's like, it's a tiger shark. And the guy's like, oh what?
Thank you. I wrote that down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Dave Z. Oh what? It's like Dave Z's in this movie.
Dumb son
No,
of a bitch.
this
Oh,
movie mirrors everything that's going on in the world today too. Sort of like stuck between a rock and a
Okay,
hard place.
right.
Like, I mean, the mayor's kind of a dick, but
Definitely.
he didn't want people to die. But it's almost like, is he going to close down the beach because like he knows, and even got the doctor to change the story and sign off on a propeller accident. So
I
it's
can't
mirrored.
believe that. What a
Oh,
asshole.
did you see?
But
I love when
that's
Dreyfus is
you're-
looking at the body. He's
Yep.
like, when he's looking, he goes,
This is
was
no
looking at
accident.
propeller." Yeah, like, oh yeah, like
All
just
that.
his interaction there. He's hopped up. He's like, can I get a glass of water, please? That
Yeah.
sequence is great. That's what I'm saying. There's so much great shit in that first hour. I'm not saying there's not great shit in the second hour.
It's
just, I
perfectly
just
paced.
love that. I know, it's just,
I really, so many movies, very few movies I'll say are perfectly paced. This is one of them. This is the movie I'm at the point right now. I didn't really start to love this movie until maybe 3 viewings ago, about 4 years ago, and that's when I really started loving it. And now I'm in that honeymoon phase. I've seen a movie maybe 8 times. You know how sometimes you feel like that, like you love a film, but you're like Friday the 13th. I love it. It's one of my favorite horror movies. I don't get excited to watch it anymore, but it's still one of my favorite. But a movie like right now, like Jaws, I'm at the point where I love it, and I'm at the point still where I'm excited to sit down and watch it. You know, I'm not saying that I like it more than Friday the 13th, but I'm just in the honeymoon phase though, because I haven't seen it fucking 60 times yet.
That
You know
really,
what I mean?
That really Mako me happy.
It's a Macau. Is that what that guy called it? A Macau?
I love my son. So I told my son, he was sitting with me, and I'm like, okay, I got to watch a movie for my podcast. He's like, it's a shark movie because he likes shark movies. And he's like, which one though? I said, it's Jaws. And he knew. He goes, is that the one with the dad? And it goes and whatever, and the kids, and he goes out with the boat, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll watch it because he knows it's longer, and but because he loves 47 meters down and 47 meters down uncaged, he loves those. But he watched it with me. He watched it with me again too. He was doing some things too. He's 8, but he distracted himself with doing some other things as well. But he kept coming back to the movie right to the end with me. And he's like, he said it's a good movie, but I think it's just a little more leisurely paced for him.
Sure, of course.
But, yeah, it's still over 2 hours. At 8 years old, you can't sit for 2 hours. But I used to feel that way. Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to feel that way, that I thought it was too long. Now I appreciate every fucking thing I see from start to finish. Like Christian said, the first hour as an adult, everything that's going on there with the mayor and them, you know, do we open the beach? Do we not? This guy is new in town. It's his first year as sheriff. They're outsiders. You're not an islander. There's so much going on. It is so perfect. And then when you get to the last hour with the 3 of them, and then they really take it over, where you end up loving all 3 characters by the end of the movie. You're not sure how you feel about about Quint at first, for sure, and maybe you're a little unsure about Hooper. Maybe he's a little arrogant and he's you don't know. But when you get them all together and you find out what's truly at heart with them, you love all 3 characters. That's what's excellent about this movie. Again, I'm not saying I prefer the second half to the first, but I prefer it as a whole and the way it's laid out. And the shots, again, Spielberg. There are certain shots that are in this film that are done so brilliantly. 1 second they're singing the songs, "Take me, I wanna go home," and right there they pan out and you see the what do you call it is back, the keg, whatever the hell it is, and now you know an impending doom any second now, right? From their joy to they don't know what's coming next. And the next, 30 seconds later, he's smashing into the side of the boat. But the way these shots are orchestrated in some of these scenes are just fucking brilliant. That's why.
At a young age, like he had done Duel and something. Like he just knew cinema, and the composition, because it's different. Like anybody could shoot something, but it's the way everything's framed within that shot. Even on a lesser note, when he was leaving the house for the day, and he goes to his car, and it pans over, and I just love how he framed it within the frame of I don't know, not a terrace or gazebo. I can't remember the fucking. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. It's not lattice, but it's a little walkway, and it's covered, and it just frames his police truck, and he gets in. And that's not even anything great. It's just a really cool looking shot.
Yeah,
but
so much that you don't remember what it's called.
No, I'm talking not the name of the shot.
You can't say it.
And the shot with, what do you call it?
Where they're waving.
Awesome.
That one was sure.
Shit. And that shot that's aped to this day of Brody sitting on the beach when Alex Kidner's attacked, and the zoom in on him.
Oh,
you know how many movies have done that since that fucking thing, and you know why they're doing it. That's when I recall seeing it the first time.
That's iconic.
It's like when it's him on the beach and it's like the rack focus shot.
Yeah.
Like, that was. Is that the first movie that did it? I want to know. But that became every movie did it. Wes Craven did it a lot. It's where you pull the camera back and you're racking focus at the same time, so it gets this depth perception. Like, it's a beautiful movement.
Iraqi focus.
And what's
happening? Yeah.
And what's happening in that shot? Like, here's what's great. The first 20 minutes of this film, you get 2 shark attacks. You get one in the first 5 minutes, and then 15 minutes later. Usually in a movie like this, you expect the second attack not to happen until like 45 minutes in. Seriously, you get 2 shark attacks in the first 20 minutes. The second thing with Alex Kittner on the beach is fucking 20 minutes in. So it's boom, boom, boom. You get the first 2 great kills. I mean, that's iconic too. The kid on the raft and the blood flying. And then seeing him because he did not want to have the beach open. And he was talked into doing this. And he'll sign off on it, the other guy said. And here we go. And let's do it. And literally right before that happened, he said to his wife, let him go in. Because remember, he didn't want the kids to go in. But then he was tight ass. And then he was trying to represent. And he was like, well, everybody else is going in. I'm a little nervous, but let him go in. And then a kid is fucking murdered right in front of him, and to zoom into him, what must have been going on in his head? I just sent my fucking kid. Not only am I the sheriff, and I misjudged this, and I should have fought harder with the mayor, and now a child or someone's getting killed. I just sent my own children out there. The fucking thoughts that be going on in that man's head. Oh man.
He was complacent. He was complacent. It was a little weird that Mrs. Kittner didn't try to attack the mayor too. But I get it that it kind of all fell on the sheriff. And that's probably why he won re-election in the sequel, the mayor, because he was very cunning and shrewd, getting out in front of it. He'd even talk about in the hospital. I was acting in the best interest of the people.
Well, hold on. I actually feel bad for him at that point of the film. The whole time I'm thinking he's a dick, but then he's out there and he's bugging out about his career. But I think he's also trying to rationalize with himself.
Yeah.
Because what he says, my children were out in the water.
Yeah.
And he has that fucking look. So I'm like, okay, maybe you weren't taking it seriously enough, not just because of you were thinking of your city and everybody else. It was what?
It's exactly COVID. It really is. It really is. This mirrors today's society.
But at that moment, I actually fucking felt bad for him for the only time in the whole time he's a heel. But in that moment there, when he's like, I was ignorant to the fact. He goes, my kids are out there too. Because I mean, think about it. If he was just a cold-hearted son of a bitch that just cared about the money, he would still love his own children and not send them out there. He would say, hey, just like the rich people that, okay, you guys can go and fight wars for us, but our kids aren't going to be on the fucking front lines. You know what I mean? That they support war. Yeah. He wasn't a hypocrite. He still sent his children in there. You know what I mean? So I don't think I think, yes, he was worried about money, but I think there was a little bit in there. He just didn't really believe the magnitude of how serious this really was as well.
Yeah. But there's obviously... It was knowledge that something was there because everybody was hesitant to go into the water.
So talk that guy in. Yeah.
Because remember, he said, "Come on, go into the water." That's what kind of got everybody going again. But so what? Why was that woman so surprised? I guess there was not. They said it was an accident at that point, right? Not that it was a death by shark.
Yeah, that it could have been a boat that went by and the propeller hit her. Yeah. So they haven't done the
going by memory.
Hooper hadn't showed up yet, but. I love the way they walk into the water. You almost like these two are gonna get killed.
Well, and my son turned to me like one of those like, Dad, how could they? The adults in this suck. Like when that shark attacks and they're like calling them all in, those adults, doesn't one kid get off that old guy grabs the kid's raft?
Yeah. Oh, assholes.
Come in? Yeah.
Dude.
My son was not happy.
And again, that just shows how people would act in a fucking...
That's what I would do. I would take a small child and throw him behind me.
That was them running for toilet paper.
Yeah, you're right. It was like that. It's true. Fucking assholes. That's what they're doing. They're just...
I would have just wiped my ass with the shark. I'm finished. Finished. Oh. Waka waka.
I'll tell you what's gross. That white liquid that comes out of the fucking tiger shark when they cut it open always makes me want to vomit for some reason. Something about that white liquid when he cuts it open and the reaction of it. I don't know. Is it gross to you guys?
It is gross.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you one thing about relating to the mayor again, because you're saying that like you don't really relate to the guy. He's a heel all the time, but I agree with him when he says something along the lines of like, "Hey, I don't want you guys to perform some half-ass autopsy on this," and a little boy comes flying out of it. Totally agree. Last thing they need is that to happen. So I totally side with them for that one moment in time. But yes, he's an asshole.
Would have been awesome if Alex came out of him like completely fine.
Alive, you mean?
Alive, yeah, just fine, intact. Yeah, came out like, hey. Mom, you could take the bounty off the shark. I'm okay. It's really Mrs. Kittner's fault. Stirring up all this aggravation.
You know what he says when they're interviewing him, though? This is the worst part of all. He says, I wrote this down. He says, they were talking about, everything going on in the city, and the news is there, and the beach, and the news is there, and they're there, and he says something about, he goes, there was some supposedly injured sunbathers, or no, it's supposed there was a shark, or no, what he says something supposedly injured some bathers, he said. Meanwhile, there's 2 fucking dead bodies, and he knows for a fact supposedly injured some bathers. Like, what?
Well, the way they made him, like the way they dressed the mayor too, though, is also like he looks like a used car salesman, right? A little bit, I find.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's a total costume choice, like a shyster, like.
Well, that's kind of how you have to be like the mayor. You gotta be sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a little shady. I mean, it's anything political like that. You got to be a little shady, a little arrogant.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I had a word and it's totally left my mind.
You got to be like
the
a
terrorist.
businessman.
It's not a terrorist, but I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say.
I said a lattice, a trellis.
Trellis that's exactly what a
trellis, not lattice, trellis.
What is lattice?
Worked on phonics.
I don't know what lattice is, but lattice is something. I love, all the explanation of the shark and, everyone, the territoriality and all that, and how it's going to keep saying and feeding on until it runs out of its food supply within this area. So I like that. That's a good explanation as to why it would venture into the pond area and cause that commotion.
I get confused about the pond. I used to not understand how the shark got there because I thought it was surrounded by just the beach. So, but now this time I noticed that it wasn't.
Did a Willie.
Yeah, jump. No, I do see how it gets in, but I don't understand why Brody was okay with sending his kids in there. Why can't the shark get in there just as easy as he can get into the other parts? It's all shallow water.
And it did get into it very easily. I guess he thought it would be safe. It's sort of like
Why?
I don't know. I guess it's sort of like the boat scene where the mother's like, "Oh, Martin, it's okay. Michael's just in the boat. He's not going in the water." And then she sees the picture and she's like, "Michael, get out of the boat."
Oh, I love that scene. Yeah, that's great. But why that? But why let him go in the pond?
Yeah, no,
I
honestly,
telling him. I don't get that.
I agree. I always thought it was just like a little lake or something.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Like it wasn't going to be like attached to the
Maybe
ocean.
they thought less people, less movement. Sharks are attracted to the movement. It's just going to be them there.
I don't know. Would you let your kids go in that fucking pond if you're the police chief and you see how bugged out he is about anyone going in the water? He doesn't want to.
I'd be like, you're not going to the beach this weekend, kids.
Right.
Stay at home.
Fuck yes, I agree.
Play on the swing set.
Something. You're not going in the fucking water at all.
My son, again, I'm bringing all this up because I think it's very valid. This is from an 8-year-old point of view. Dad, why aren't the parents a little bit more concerned about the son being cut?
No, that's great.
There's blood coming down there.
That's great.
And I'm like, no, they're just probably underplaying it. They're like, no, they don't seem to care that he's cut.
That's great. That's one of my notes here. That is how parents were back then, where not everything was a major catastrophe.
I agree.
He got a cut, and I love that scene. That reminds me when I was a kid. We had I could have been bleeding from my throat, and my parents would be like, let's put a Band-Aid on it. Like, that's how, not like today. Unfortunately, today you get a paper cut and you're in the ER for.
Well, that's what I said. I tried to explain it. Like, nope, because those parents don't care. Those parents
don't care. They don't give a shit.
Because I would be crying, Dad. Why is the kid not crying? It's just funny to see the reaction.
For sure. Now, does that one kid, I forget which one of their kids, Michael, goes into the hospital? Does he ask for coffee ice cream, or does he want
coffee ice cream? Coffee ice cream.
Okay, so coffee ice cream.
You want ice cream? Coffee.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was saying I don't want fucking ice cream, I want coffee. Well, what kid wants coffee ice cream to begin with? I never hear a kid ask for that. But then I thought he was saying, do you want ice cream? Coffee. You know what I mean? Like instead of ice cream, I want coffee.
Very ahead of its time, because now kids are very big into coffee and coffee ice cream.
Yeah, I guess so. What are you, some half-assed astronaut?
You heard what she said right after he said coffee ice cream. She said chumming right up.
Jesus.
Oh,
Speaking of chum.
That
scene, holy fuck. No music, nothing. Just peekaboo. Like, amazing. It's when he throws it in, it's so well done. Now you know it's coming because we've watched the movie. But he just throws it in and boom, the shark comes up, and that's what It's his reaction there, great shot, and that's the infamous.
I never
or
realized
not
how
infamous,
many
famous.
times though he asked to go back to get a bigger boat though. I
Oh,
realized
he's bugging out.
he brings it up like 30 times. It's like we're going back to get a
twice, doesn't it?
No, he
2 times.
says it twice, but he mentions it, I think, 2 more times about it. Oh, we can call back and get a bigger boat, he said. It was the next morning.
Well, I think it's just
He's
the build
bugged
up,
out.
'cause he was bugged out because he's
Sure.
you just can tell he's anal.
I
There's
don't
an
blame him.
analness about him. Like, I mean, I can relate. I'm like kind of like that too. Like, okay,
You
I don't
love
think we
anal.
could do it here. They obviously can't do it. That boat fucking goes down at the end of the movie.
He was right. That's what I'm saying. They all had their points. Quint, Hooper, and Brody all fucking had good points. At the end, there is no right or wrong. Each one of them brought something to the table, and maybe if they all would have listened to each other a little more, it would have worked out better. I mean, they did the best they could given the circumstances, I guess. Maybe they should have listened to Hooper here. Maybe they should have listened to Brody here. You know, each of them brought something to the table. But I mean, I would be bugged out too. He knew that fucking shark was too big. It was gonna take that boat down, and so he was bugged out. Plus, he's afraid of the water.
Cage scene, man? That cage scene
Oh,
is really
yeah.
well done too.
boy.
I mean,
I don't know. Why? How
it's
come
so
I-
good. But what does Hooper do? Hooper looks like he hides out a little. Like, I'm just gonna hide here until everything's done for me.
Well, he can't do anything. What's he gonna do? I'm not gonna attempt to come. I don't blame him for waiting to see the shark explode. That's when I'm coming back up.
What did I miss? Oh, it's over. Great. I'll float back with you.
Dude, that attack scene in the cage though is fantastic.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
it's such great performances in terms of when people are being attacked, the desperation and the fear. You hear him screaming in his wetsuit, in his air mask, oxygen mask, whatever, his oxygen tank. You could hear the scream. His trellis,
Oh,
his
yeah.
lattice. Let me get a BLT, a bacon lattice and tomato sandwich.
Again, from the point of view of an 8-year-old,
Kevin
they
Bacon.
come up, they're smiling, they're laughing. It's like, Dad, why are they laughing? Their friend got killed. And then I'm like, and then it was right at that point. He's like, Quint. He goes, I go there. They acknowledged it.
He goes,
It's like,
no.
but they were still laughing.
Yeah.
And it's just again, it's just interesting what resonates with a younger mindset.
You
And I
should
thought it
have
was
said,
good.
you should have just said to Chris, you should have just said, that's the way Quint wanted to go.
No, I want to go, son.
Yeah, but like he was really prepared to die. Obviously, the whole story with the Indianapolis. I mean, that's probably my favorite dialogue scene in the film.
And how he removed the tattoo.
Yeah,
Doesn't
how he
wanna
removed
think
the
about it anymore?
tattoo. How he removed the tattoo, the whole story and
Yeah.
everything. It's absolutely like
iconic. Now,
It's so
right?
engaging. You're just like drawn to it. And then when he's like, I'll never wear a life vest again, and then he gives the life vest to
Doesn't.
Brody, he gives it to Hooper, but he doesn't have one for himself. He's like, you kind of know, even if you've never seen the film, you kind of know, like, this guy's he's not coming back.
And he's sticking that machete into the
Oh,
shark.
it's great.
I
it's
love
something
that.
I noticed it a little bit more.
Yeah.
You forget that he's just going to town on.
He's fighting. He's fighting.
He's sawing into it while he's getting chewed.
And doesn't
like-
the shark die in the novel just from all the wounds? It doesn't.
I don't know.
I can't answer that.
I'm almost positive in the novel that there's no, grand explosion at the end, and it's just he succumbs to his wounds finally. And that's sort of what it is. They're just inflicting wounds on this thing for so long. I get why the movie needs that more smile, you son of a bitch type ending, but there's something poetic about, the fight just sort of coming to an end because finally it came to its wounds.
For sure.
Well-
Here's a question. Brody yells. Actually, let me mention one scene which is great when he goes, "You're certifiable," when he smashes the fucking thing with the bat, when he's radioing for help, he's still bugging out. Wants a bigger boat. He's still, that's why he fucking, and he smashed, that stuff's great. But right after that, and all shit's, this is when they finally get the 3 barrels onto the shark. You hear Brody yell, hold on, something about breaking, I hope you break your back or something like that. Who's he saying that to, the shark or is he saying it to Quint? Because
the shark.
He wants the shark to break its back.
Yeah,
Okay.
try to swim away with all that heavy weight and snap your back like.
Okay. I wasn't sure why he yelled that. I hope you break your back, he said. It's just, I know, it just seemed kind of a
Is
weird
it Brody
thing.
who yells that or Quinn who yells that?
No, Brody yells it.
Brody yells it?
Yeah. That's why I wrote it down.
Maybe
Yeah.
Quint.
Maybe he is yelling at
And he
Quint.
does get his back kind of broken because he's chewed in half.
Yeah, no, he says, I hope your back breaks, he says. Hope your back breaks. I had to find the note. But
You
that-
should have
that-
said,
falls out.
mission accomplished. This is going into the
Oh, man.
He could have been like the guy in part 4 and been alive at the end.
Yeah, oh my God. Van Peebles?
Yeah, Van
Van
Pebbles.
Peebles?
No, he
Van
was a
Pebbles.
Flintstone. Van Pebbles.
Let the sun shine in, Pebbles.
A
Yes.
Flintstone. Sorry, Flintstone.
A quintstone.
Quintstone. Quintstone. Speak the Quintstone.
I do like how
great.
this movie ends, though.
Well, we're
yeah.
swimming back to shore and just
I
arriving.
actually wish it just stayed there and follow them out, but I guess they had to cut at some point. But it cuts back to the shore, and I
I
guess
like that it cuts back to the shore. I'd like to
Yeah.
know that they made it back because they're so far out at this point. I'm like,
They were out, but that thing ending would have been nice. Why don't we just hang out here for a while?
no. We've just been through enough. I want to see them get out of the water.
See you in part 2.
There you go. I love all Quint's lines. I wish I can go through them, but he has so many. His dialogue, I laughed about fucking 6 or 7 times during this movie. How he puts things out there just by singing a song, and he just says these certain fucking statements that are so good. I really love Quint more than ever now watching this movie. Yeah,
His third wife's the knees.
yeah. Right. He's great. What a character, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the meatiest role. I mean, that was an award-worthy performance for that role. I mean, he's not in it that long. I don't know why, for some reason. I mean, it's been a while since I'd watched it. I always felt like there was much more time after Quint died. Like there was at least a good 20, 25 minutes after Quint died.
Nope.
And I didn't realize
It's
yeah, exactly. I was like,
yeah, it ends.
yeah, it's like
Yep.
it's over right away.
Yep. What a movie. I think this is going. I think it was my number 20 movie when we did our top 20 or 19 or something. It's getting closer to the top 10 now. Like I said, I'm just in that phase where I'm just, the more I like it, the more I love it. You know?
Yeah. Talking just quickly about the sequels, none of them approach it. None of them even come close to this. But I actually
I'm watching.
used to
Let
like
me interrupt.
part 2.
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
Let me interrupt really quick. I haven't seen part 2 in 30 years. I ordered the Blu-ray the other day. It arrived today. So I'm going to watch it tonight for the first time in 30
I
years.
want to see what you think, because I actually did. I dig that movie. When I didn't mind it when growing up, but then when my buddy bought the Laserdisc, I fell in love with it. Something about it, I'm like, it's a fun, silly sequel to Jaws. It's not the first movie. It's not trying to be, but it was a good follow-up. 3, the only reason to watch 3 is if you can see it in true 3D. Otherwise, it's an abomination. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. And then 4 is just ridiculous. It's like you watch it as a guilty pleasure. It's so bad. It's so bad you got to see it.
Well, I always confuse 3 and 4 because they used to be on cable a lot on HBO when I was a kid. For some reason, I didn't see 2 as much. I don't know why. But 2 was my favorite when I was a kid. Which one had what's her name in there? Is it Tess Harper? Is that the girl?
Well, Randy Quaid, or not Randy Quaid. Dennis Quaid is in 3. It's a SeaWorld. 4 is Michael Caine.
Yeah, I think I used to see 3 a lot. Okay.
And 5 is Candy Cane.
And 5 is Candy Cane. Candy Cane. That Joyride versus Jaws.
Awesome.
The preview could just be the truck coming at the show. This time it's personal again.
This time it's personal again?
Yeah, well,
again.
If you remember, the too stupid tagline for Jaws 4 was, this time it's personal. That was the tagline for part 4.
That's terrible.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know how this many years later they can't do another shark movie anywhere near as good as this. You never see a shark movie like this. People on a boat being attacked by a shark. Something that sounds so simple.
Closest is 47 meters down.
It's my second favorite shark
I'm going to
movie.
stick to it.
Yes.
That is the closest.
I'm with you.
Uncaged is fun.
Not bad, yeah.
It's a fun sequel, but 47 meters down is great. The Shallows was okay. I thought it was a little too...
I prefer 47 meters. 47 days
sure.
down, I'm going to have to check, but that's a long movie.
47 meters down.
You caught yourself the first time, but I still had to bring it up how long a
didn't
movie
even-
that would be. 47 Days Down.
I didn't hear.
Holy shit, we've been down here. I'm a fucking prune. I've been down here for 2 months.
Wow. Either way, it's like The Exorcist came out the year before, and nothing has touched it in the possession, subgenre. Same thing with Sharks. Nothing has touched fucking Jaws all these years later. It's so weird that it can't be done. It seems like it's simple, but apparently it's not, because nobody can do it. But, God, man.
Well, not when it's on the pedestal like that, right? But anyway.
But
Great
yeah,
movie.
let's wrap it up. What
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
A notch above Atrocious. Now, if the shark had a shaky cam in his eye and it was all done POV shark cam, then it would be a 10 out of 10. I'm kidding. 10 out of 10.
Why did the
Great movie.
sharks? Why did the sharks have to swim in salt water though?
Well, they
No
do it
idea.
in Shark Night.
Well, that's because pepper water makes them sneeze.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
Them's the jokes. I'm running out of shark jokes.
That's okay. We're running out of time.
God.
Oh, the
Right.
beer water chug scene was funny.
Yes, it
Have to
was.
mention. I love
A-
that.
And pouring a whole glass of wine when he comes over
Oh,
and
the
brings
whole
red and
thing.
white
Yeah.
to his fucking, he pours the whole thing in a regular glass.
Was he invited for dinner?
No, he just came
Oh,
over.
okay. Oh, he just.
And then
okay,
he
'cause-
and
'cause
who
he's
does
like,
that?
Yeah.
Are you
gonna
gonna
eat
eat
that?
Yes, who would do that? That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure about Hooper a little bit, just because
I
of some
like-
of the things he does. But
But
whatever.
you learn he's like a rich, like entitled guy. But
But-
I like him.
But he's still great, right?
Yeah. Oh, he's fantastic.
And I'll say one more thing. That jump scare gets me every single time with the head in the fucking water and the guy with the eye. You know what's coming. So it's like it's like a top 10 jump scare, I think, because it gets me. I know what's coming and it still gets me. It's fucking
Yep.
crazy. No
Good
one ever
scare,
talks
good
about it.
scare.
Wow.
Wait,
Anyway,
which jump scare? I'm sorry.
the
head
the
with
guy's
the eye.
head when
Oh,
when
yeah.
he goes in the water.
Ben Gardner.
Yeah, Ben Bummer. Yes.
And it is Ben Gardner.
That's okay. I'm calling him Ben Bummer still. Anyway, it's 10 out of 10. Obviously, Jaws. Yes.
Now, would you rather fight a shark or an octopus?
Oh, an octopus.
No, I'd take a shark. An octopus is always well armed.
Why did I do it?
Sorry, 10 out of 10 for me too.
Boom. Perfect score. Hall of Fame.
Well,
Rock
did
and
Christian give it a
roll.
10? Did Christian say 10?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I messed
But I'm not nominated for the Hall of Fame.
Those days are over. Thank goodness. Whew. Okay, let's be out. Guys, we love you all very much. Thank you for everything. And, man, we really love you. Can't say that enough.
You guys are awesome.
It never ends. It never ends. That was
Next
great.
show will be the beginning of the Saw franchise. Movies 1 through 4. That's our next show. So we'll see you then.
Saws. We're doing Saws.
Saws. We're going from Jaws to Saws.
We're doing
Yeah.
Chaws. Is
Yeah.
there a movie called Chaws?
Anyway, I fucked it up again. I hit this thing again.
This
We
fucking
love
guy. You're too loud
Long
in that.
time.
Oh, that's my joke.
We love you a long time. I took it back.
I took it back. That was my joke now. Bye, guys.
See ya.
You say no.